got 10 toes in the dirt. Push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test. Like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed. So now let me flex. Ha, yeah, I'm a word. Through the struggle and hurt. Cause I know my worth. And I gotta be first. Ha, yeah, I gotta be first. Look, I don't want anyone's sympathy. I understand what it's meant for me. I give my focus and energy. If it's meant to be, then it's meant to be. But mentally, I'm undefeated. They hear that.
It's been a little while, but we are back with another season of Call of Duty Mobile. Now, lots has happened during the off season with these rosters, which of course means we are in for another exciting season in EU. Today is day one of our open finals, where 4 teams will claim their spot in the next challenge season, and it's almost time to find out just who those teams will be. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Snapdragon Pro Series.
Till a player on top, know it. Rooftop, penthouse suite. If you really want it, gotta own it. Fight through it, we was at the lowest. Blood, sweat, tears, the components. Riding all year, now's the moment. We are not friends, we are opponents. Yeah, I'm coming for mine. Yeah, I'm making a play, the game on the line. Yeah, I've been on the grind. Yeah, I jump in the spot, I made it my time. Yeah, look in the sky. Yeah, the stars align on stage to shine. Can't stop it already. Emotional work and devotion. We put in this time. Look, you won't stop.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Snapdragon Pro Series. We are back for Season 4 of the SPS, and this weekend is all about Call of Duty Mobile. My name is Glitter Explosion, and I'll be your host here all weekend, and I'm joined today by Verdict and Bobby to kick things off. So, Verdict, welcome to the show.
Oh my God, it has been such a long time coming. I'm just so grateful to be here with you for this Open Finals, getting a chance to cast with one of the greatest of all times here in COD Mobile with Bobby, and then also one of the best to ever do it in the hosting business with you, Glitter. I'm excited. Let's get the show on the road.
It's gonna be fantastic. And Bobby, we're back at it again. Another season about to kick off. How are you feeling?
I'm excited. If there's one thing that you can expect from EU, it is the unexpected, and that has already been the case with everything that we've seen from all the roster changes. So it is 100% going to be chaos through and through. No clue what to expect out of 90% of these rosters, and that makes it that much more fun.
Yeah, there's going to be so much action, not only this weekend, but the entire season. So you guys aren't going to want to miss a single second of it. You can do that by following us on all of our social media, okay? You can go to X, Instagram, or Facebook. Just make sure you're following us on at least one of them so you don't miss a single second of any of it. And not only that, but our Discord has only gotten better this time around. So make sure you head on over to discord.gg/Snapdragon Pro Series to join the community, hang out with everybody, get even more updates, and talk all things Call of Duty Mobile. All right, now that you guys know what you need to do at home, chat, it's time for us to start talking about the show, because like I mentioned earlier, a lot has happened during this off season. Roster mania has for sure shaken things up, which is going to have an impact on this season. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the exclusive roster and its changes. Verdict, talk me through it.
Oh, this was a necessary change right here for them. You get a chance to perform and get on the highest stage and level for here for COD Mobile. Of course, you got to pick up 2 of the best. They drop Balance and Feints. They pick up Caesar and Shark. And depending on how they do in this particular tournament, I would expect them to have an ironclad set lineup moving into that stage 5 in December moving forward.
Yeah, they're definitely a team we talked about last season, so we'll have to see what those changes end up doing for the exclusive roster. But it's not just exclusive that has seen some changes. There's another team that we need to talk about. And to be fair, they're a team that we won't be seeing until tomorrow's matches, but there have been some massive changes on Omniscient. And Bobby, we need to talk about this new team because it really is a mashup of players from absolutely everywhere.
Yeah, usually the approach for EU in general is if things don't work out in the challenge stage, just blow everything up, throw something else together, and see what works. And that's what they did right here. So we got Animus, we got 117 Not Found, we got Exclusive, we got 31er. I have no idea who's going to be starting, who's in what position, what to expect out of this roster, but there's no question there's a lot of talent and a lot of experience, and this is definitely one that I anticipate we will see in the challenge stage this time around as well.
Yeah, it'll be exciting to see what they were able to kind of nail down as this new group during the offseason and just how much they're really gelling as a team. I'm excited to see what that Omniscient roster does. But like I said, we'll be seeing them tomorrow in our lower bracket. But first of all, if you don't even know what I'm talking about with this lower bracket, we have to talk about the format so everyone at home understands how this tournament works. And Bobby, this is where you come in.
Oh, this is my specialty. We got the open stages, playing by yourself, playing with friends. We got the open finals, which is what we got right now. 128 teams, all dwindled down to what by the end of tomorrow will be the top 8 who will be moving on to the challenge stage, where we'll once again have a round robin and our double elimination bracket to decide who's going to be representing Europe in the best of the best, that final stage.
All right. And obviously, we're not just here for the spots to challenge. I mean, that is what people are competing for, but we're making it a little bit sweeter here, Verdict, because we have a prize pool on the line as well for having made it through those 128 teams down to our top 16.
Oh, absolutely. You can take a look at it right here on your screen. It's top 1st through 4th are going to receive a $500 prize pool, followed up with a 5th through 8th, and that's going to be not only an opportunity to advance, but also put a little bit of money in your pockets with the 350. 9th through 12th, going to get that 250, and then we're going to wrap it up with a 13th through 16th for $150. So every team that participates in the top 16 will be rewarded with that prize money.
Not only that, but the prize pool and the stakes get higher with every single stage of this competition. Like we said, everybody wants to make it through to the challenge season, which is what our goal will be at the end of this weekend. Now, it's time for us to take a look at the bracket that I mentioned earlier, which teams are going to be competing for those 8 challenge season spots. Like we said, we've already whittled it down from 128 down to our top 16 here. And you can see that some of those matches are already happening down there in that lower bracket round, which will happen off stream. We're going to be focusing on the upper bracket. But Bobby, any teams jump out at you?
Yeah, obviously we talked about that Omniscient roster that has a lot of 117 Not Found and Animus players. They'll go ahead and advance to the lower bracket round of 8, which means we're guaranteed to see them tomorrow. That's definitely one you want to keep your eyes on. And Mont actually were able to move up into the upper bracket, I believe, as a result of one team dropping out, but they are not going to have an easy task going up against Kings. I've seen a lot of good things out of this Mont squad during the offseason, but this is about as big of a task as you're going to have in EU.
Yeah, it's going to be a really great way to kick off Season 4 for Call of Duty Mobile. I mean, this is going to be an action-packed weekend. Lots of recognizable names that if you guys were watching us last season, you will see here this time around, and it'll be exciting to see what some of these squads can do now that we've just kind of upped the level of competition in the region. But I mentioned it earlier. Today, we're focusing on the upper bracket portion of this bracket. That means 4 teams who win today out of those 4 matches will be the first 4 in our challenge season. And then everyone else that loses will get knocked down into that lower bracket where all of our winners playing those off-stream matches will be waiting for them. And then those bottom 4 matches will be who we watch tomorrow to determine the last 4 spots in our challenge season. So like we keep saying, make sure you're here the whole time because you're not going to miss a single second of how any of that goes down. But when it comes to the matches on the day, let's start talking about them. Our first match will be between Exclusive and RM. And we got an opportunity to talk about the Exclusive roster earlier when we were mentioning those roster changes that we've seen. But now let's start talking about the roster of RM because they're going to go up against this new updated Exclusive roster here, Verdict.
Oh, absolutely. And if you take a look at the rosters, there's RM is going to be represented by Brinks, Callow, Turtle, Rushes, and Sushi. And what I will say about this roster is I got a chance to cast a lot of these players going into this event, even prior to, for the past few years, actually. And they were actually a part of a team called Icy back in the day. So never really quite competed at that T1 level. They're going to get an opportunity to really test their strengths here against a very strong exclusive opponent.
The real question for me is, Bobby, obviously exclusive, a team that we were constantly talking about in that top 4 for all of challenge season last season. Is that a performance that they can repeat this time around with those changes?
I mean, I think if anything, they're going to be better than they were last time around because they were certainly an underdog heading into playoffs. They showed that they can compete when the stakes are the highest, and I think you take Shark, who is arguably the strongest individual player in EU for the entirety of the group stages. You add him in there. Caesar, who is just a dominant SMG. Add them in with 2 super solid ARs in Creed and Veer, and then whoever's going to be that 5th player on the roster, there's not really much way you can go wrong. I would assume that would be Neil, as he is one of the most ridiculous snipers that we've seen not only in EU but in the entire world. So there's a lot of talent to pull from right here, and I'd say they're a pretty definitive number 2 seed heading into this competition.
All right, chat. Well, we're moments away from getting into our picks and ban stage of the very first match. Before we do that, I also want to ask your thoughts on match number 1. We'll do this the entire season. We want to hear from you. Let us know who you think is going to be taking home match number 1 of the day. Will it be exclusive or will it be RM? Are we going to be starting things off with a little bit of an upset? Are we going with a roster we saw so much in that last season? Like Bobby said, it should be very exciting. I kind of want to find out where you guys are leaning as well, but also give me your thoughts on these map bans as they start to come through with that hard point.
I mean, I would say the Hacienda is one that all of these guys are super, super comfortable with, so no surprise to see that in the pool. Bans on Arsenal and Summit, so these guys trying to keep things outside of the close range, and Arsenal is one that we've seen a lot of teams just feel fairly uncomfortable with. So, I mean, obviously, any of the maps that have been in the pool for a couple of years now, you got to lean the direction of the more experienced teams. And obviously, we go with exclusive for Hacienda, for Takeoff, for Firing Range. I think Meltdown, probably the only chance for RM to have a big shot at taking one, and with that being map 5, I don't see great odds that we see that.
Verdict, thoughts?
I got to agree with Bobby. To echo with him, I know the Hacienda is not the pick for exclusive, but they're still very strong on that. You go back to the very end of the season from stage 4, they performed very well. They just didn't really have the opportunity to find a way to close games out. Once they got in the playoffs, they nixed all those problems and became a real threat in maps like Hacienda, in maps like Takeoff, in maps like Arsenal. They've done it on all 3. They've done it, outside as well. So I gotta be rolling with what Bobby says, and not to just sound too echoish, but I think exclusive are going to be able to take this one rather quickly.
Right, well, we'll have to see if it is that experience that goes the way exclusive. Either way, it's going to be a really fun way to get our open finals kicked off, because don't forget, whoever wins this match, we're in that upper bracket, literally straight out the gate. Match number 1, challenge qualified, whoever wins. So all of these matches today are not the easy path, but the path that all these teams want to take if they can, because they don't want to have to drop down and fight all over again tomorrow to try and make it through to challenge. Every single one of our 4 matches today is very important as we determine who will be competing for a 4-week challenge season. I can't wait to get into it. I'm pretty sure that match is right around the corner, so that means it's time for me to pass it off to you two, Verdict and Bobby. Let's kick things off.
All right, I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, I've gotten a cast with Verdict for a long time now, but it's never been on the main stage. So this is something that we've both been hoping for quite a while. And no better way to get it started than with a stage 5 qualifier in exclusive, very talented roster. And we got some maps that I'm definitely looking forward to casting as well. Obviously, the dominance of those ARs expected to play a big role, and it looks like actually Neil moving into an AR role. This could be specifically for this Hacienda map, as there are a lot of longer angles to play in the Grau. Making its way into the meta is a little bit of a hybrid AR SMG, so it looks like we are going to have just a nice mix of different options. Is Creed actually going to be rocking with a shotgun off the start? So lots of changes in the meta to get things started. Nice kill on the top side for Turtle, but it is exclusive on the hard point, and they're the ones that have got to be dealt with if RM want to get themselves off to a strong start here.
No, absolutely. Want to get that flip early as well and maintain it throughout. Right now, they're struggling to get on the objective. Creed on the backside is going to try and clear off the back line, and good night. That hard night rage. Oh, it took 2 doofs, but he got the job done. Hill going to be occupied yet again in yellow, and that's going to be exclusive, starting off very strong. And more importantly, they haven't had any kind of struggle on maintaining those spawns, and they're locking it down the entirety of this P1. So a lot of struggling going on here for RM off the bat. Let's see if they can buckle up for a big P2 rotation.
And this is kind of what we expected to see. RM have to be a solid team to have made it this far, but there's levels to this, and that's something we've seen in COD Mobile over and over again, is how big of a gap there is between the top and the bottom. Blowing up the vehicles, getting set up toward P1, you get your ARs in position. And we do see the smokes come out for RM as they try to make their way push through there. A vehicle explosion is going to take down Caesar, but still struggling to find any of these gunfights, and they got to deal with Shark on the low ground. They're not going to do that. One player going to hop on in, but he's dealt with as well. An exclusive hold the line on a crucial P2 right here, and they're set all over as wave number 2 is going to make their best attempt at breaking on in. But they are definitely discombobulated off the start right here, already down 60.
Oh, no, you're absolutely right. It's only going to get worse from here right now. They're still pushing in one by one. I saw in that second wave that they were trying to make the adaptation, but in a moment like this, you got to move quick, and especially on a P2 rotation, that is almost, it's possibly the biggest money hill of this map, easily the biggest money hill of the map here for exclusive, but all the money hills here for exclusive is they're just going to continue to plow on through. It's 80+ points rolling into the P3 site, and over towards the Wells, we got a big interaction going on. Player number 4, that is going to be Caesar, is going to be taken down. So maybe this is a little bit of a silver lining here for this RM squad, as they are going to need to get it. I'm just saying, at least 30 seconds off this to feel confident.
Yeah, if anyone was surprised that exclusive picked up Shark after stage 4, they most certainly were not paying attention. You can see why right here. 16 kills for him to get things started. Nobody on RM past 7 right there, and honestly, a surprisingly slow start for Caesar as well, still trying to get into the rhythm of things. Typically, you expect Hacienda to be a tougher map for SMGs, and it's been that way for Caesar, but most certainly not for Shark, as he is tearing up the map. And exclusive maintain this lead. RM do find a couple of seconds here over on P3, but not going to be enough to maintain a hold as as exclusive get back onto the hard point. And you would expect that RM go ahead and start rotating toward next. Not a whole lot of time to be gained here, but we still see these late pushes. One player going to make the wrap toward that side. It's going to be Turtle. He's got to win some of these opening gunfights if they're going to see any type of a dent in this lead.
Oh, yeah. I mean, talk about a dent in the lead right now. They got to find some semblance of confidence, because right now, on the opposite side of the screen, you got a Creed who's running around with an R9, and then you got Shark who is just doing Shark things. It is very tough to stop now as the operators are coming out the War Machine in full. This one's starting to just continue to get out of hand. Exclusive, trying to handle business. Big Gravity Vortex going to go through in the feed, make it a 2-piece. Sushi going to be able to open up and get a break, and finally a little bit of breathing room. They're down by 100, Bobby. Is there a chance they can reel it back in?
I wouldn't say it's a good chance. There's always a chance because this is such a momentum-based game, but exclusive at every turn have just looked so much stronger. Honestly, really bizarre stat lines for exclusive, because you look, Shark and Creed combined for 40. Meanwhile, Caesar and Neil combined for 15. So you'd like to see a little bit more consistency out of this exclusive roster, but with the way things have gone so far, I don't think you can really complain a whole lot, and it looks like Caesar is starting to get hot right here. He's one of those streaky players that if you let him get going, he is very difficult to stop, and especially heading back toward P1, having this top side control, not a good sign for RM.
No, not at all. Taking a look at the score, 153-25. That'll paint you a picture. It has been a beatdown so far. Exclusive just running to the beat of their own drum right now, and Neil will give him a little bit of a pass. I know he was such a lethal SMG rolling into this season, but making the role change certainly going to be a little bit of adversity. We'll let him iron the kinks out here in this early season. Right now, it is 30 seconds left to go on P1. Exclusive, not stopping anytime soon. Ring around the rosy there for Creed, as he's going to be able to mask himself through the smoke, actually get a shot on the rushes. Was also another famous EU shotgunner himself, not using the shotgun this time around. Well, yeah, he is, just not having as much luck, I guess. An unfortunate here case is now, as the last 15 seconds is up for grabs. It is going to be still a little bit of a toss-up, but not much tossing up here. It has been exclusive all game long so far, and it looks like it's going to be exclusive rolling into this P2 setup as well.
Yeah, Shark continues to dominate the map. Nobody's been able to touch him. Obviously, one of the questions that will be left to be answered for this exclusive squad is who's going to fill the role of Champy. He was definitely their main OBJ player, and especially once they get to going up against some of the top teams, it's going to be a little bit bigger of a question as to how that's going to be substituted. Obviously, having Creed in a shotgun role, able to pick up some big time as he's already a minute and 40 seconds in. The rest of the team holding the line and actually getting the ARs on the objective has worked super well for this exclusive squad as well. Shark, you're pretty much just going to be content with him roaming the map and picking up as many kills as he possibly can, and that will always make the job easier for the rest of the squad as the lead continues to build for this exclusive squad, now up to 210 RM, trying not to be put in the 50-point club, let alone the 100-point club, but even then, the odds not looking great as exclusive have completely run this map. RM, you got players with 5 and 7 kills. It's just, you're in basically a 3v5 right here. There's only so much you can hope to expect against a team that's putting in as much work as these guys are trying to get ready for stage 5.
Absolutely. You don't want to see any kind of weaknesses out of this exclusive roster rolling into December. You really want to make sure you handle the basics. And right now, everything is just lined up perfectly for exclusive, not because of habit or it's happening because they're controlling their own destiny at this point. They are playing very solid. Hard point at the moment. And as a matter of fact, they only need 25 seconds rolling into this P3 rotation. It looks like it could be finishing up here on the fences side. Caesar got the top side as the office hop down is going to be read perfectly. The PDW battalion skin looking great, and surely enough in his hands everything is lethal. As we start to see the last little pushes coming through out of RM, they're going to contest for a little bit. Can they extend this one to at least a P4 rotation? Now, as they do hit that 50-point club, Bobby, this one is only a matter of moments, but it does look like we are going to get a P4-1 rotating over into that statue site.
Yeah, they do a good job of contesting right there, but a contest really can only prolong the inevitable at this point. You get Creed rotated to the top side, and he's going to swiftly greet anybody that wants to enter with a shotgun to the face. Not going to be able to take two, but Shark going to go ahead, pop the claw. If I had to guess, that should be enough to clear the hard point and go ahead and lock in the win for exclusive here on map number 1, 250 to 52. That's the dominance that we expected out of them, and they absolutely lived up to the hype. We talked about a couple of the players off to slow starts. They evened out those stat lines as well, so I would say for exclusive, that's about as strong of a start as you could ask for.
Who let Creed cook, man? Like, what was blood on before he got in the game of the day, man? I don't think I've seen him that competitive since 2021, where he had one of the better stat lines of all the players in Stage 5. It's been a moment. Love to see him back in prime form. Love to see this exclusive roster come through and handle business, most importantly. So, love to see that one. What was that, 250 to 52-ish? Pretty dominant performance so far out of them.
Yeah, and I would say they don't really have a ton to prove today. That was what we expected out of them. The real proving grounds will be whenever we do arrive in that challenge stage and they're matching up against the best of the best in Europe. Obviously, no disrespect to RM. They could very well be a team that we do still end up seeing in the challenge stage, but to expect them to go up against the likes of exclusive, it's just a tough task. Now, with that being said, Search and Destroy, typically the mode of the underdog. You get a reset after every round, and typically these underdog teams that have made it this far in the competition, they've got some heavy hitters in the sniper category. So you can see pretty much all the highlights are all exclusive all the way, and the stats will reflect that as well. As Shark pretty much double positive, Creed pretty much double positive, and nobody in the negative. Whereas on the flip side, Sushi giving it his best. Rest of the squad really on the struggle bus right there. They're gonna need to crank things up big time heading here into Search and Destroy.
No, absolutely. Obviously, we're talking about this being an opportunity for RM to strut their stuff and get an opportunity to participate in the top 8 is still a very, very high possibility. As a matter of fact, if you look at the bracket, you could go and trace and see who they'll be playing if they don't happen to win this one. As right now, the course is not looking great at all, but I have a lot of faith in these players. They put a lot of work in, and I want to say they crashed into the scene of around 2 years ago. So I've had the opportunity to see them grow as players. Obviously, the performance that they had today against this exclusive roster, not necessarily the one that they were expecting, but if we take a look at the best of 5, map number 1 under our belts, we are going to be heading over to firing range, which is probably not going to get any better for them, as this is, to my guess, a selection from exclusive. So exclusive just beat you on your map selection. We're heading into their map selection now. All the cards are in their hands. I'm expecting this one to be about similar as an outcome as we just saw out of the Hardpoint.
Yeah, I'm expecting Neil to have a field day right here, obviously. With the way that a lot of these teams will approach firing range, you let your snipers find first blood, and there's not many players in Europe that are better at doing that than Neil. We saw him go toe-to-toe with Marvel during the last season of the Snapdragon Pro Series, and he absolutely did not disappoint on any front, so eyes are going to be on him as we do get ready to hop into things right here. It looks like we will have a sniper in the hands of Veer as well, so both of those players more than capable. I think it's going to take some ridiculous flow state out of somebody on RM to have a chance. It looks like Kalo's going to be pulling out the DLQ off the start right here, but an aggressive push on over to the A side. Not super surprising for exclusive off the start.
No, and look at that. A quick bomb plant to go along with it. No casualties as of yet. More importantly, though, on the other side, you got all 5 here for the retake if you are RM. Big shots coming through. Deleted Creed. Good night. The R9, the shots that'll make you hop. That hopper skin, absolutely delightful. As Turtle's on the outskirts. Turtle, you get it too, buddy. There it goes. There's enough shots for everybody, and just like that, we're down to 1. This round escalated rather quickly. Brink's going to be the last casualty. Exclusive handle business here in the opening round.
I honestly don't know if the better approach for RM is going to be to throw an aggressive defense over toward A, or if that's just going to result in the round ending quicker. It's tough to say at this point. Looks like exclusive going to sit back, and actually I take that back. Some big time pressure over toward the B side. It's not much of a change in approach, and Shark's just running around willy-nilly. There's a guy. Hello? Oh my gosh, if he hadn't gotten that kill, would have been devastating. I don't know if we were looking for an execution there or what, but solid trays right there is RM able to go 2 for 2. The bomb does start to go down over here on the B side. It's going to stop, but as that happens, 2 players drop for RM, and now all down to Kalo as he's going to try to clutch up in a 1v3 situation.
I think both of us were just as confused as Turtle when he had that interaction. Good shots. Calo going to be able to find one, not going to be able to get the second one down the tunnel site. And that bomb going to go down. Veer and Neil now going to play the objective. We'll see if Calo can clutch what would technically be a 1v3. He's got 35 seconds to do it. 30 before that bomb will blow up. Let's see what he can do. He's got not a lot of time. He's got to make a move, and at some point, maybe you can catch somebody lacking. I don't know what Veer was doing right there. Is he just like laying down for him? Get him. Calo shuts down 1. It's down to a 1v1. Neil in the perfect position to defend, though, and not a lot of time to make this push in. It's Calo's go.
We'll see what he can do with it. Not going to peek around. Neil in the cubby. Should be able to distract for long enough to avoid the defuse right here, and I don't think there's enough time for Kalo to make anything out of this. Neil still trying to see if he can find the kill, but it's not going to matter at this point. Picks it up, an exclusive take, round 2 right there. Better fight back out of RM, but once again, you got to be able to clutch up at the end of that, and unfortunately, Kalo not able to make it happen.
Yeah, admirable approach right there. Takes down 2, couldn't get the third. Well played from Neil. 200 IQ there to play time. Right now, it's a quick hit over towards the A side. In the middle of the map, you got player number 3, who is just all wide open. He's made the approach all the way in the front of the trailer. Nobody has spotted him. And the backside of the trailer now going to be compromised. Shark going to be able to find the first blood. Bomb going to go down along with it. 40 seconds on, and just like that, it's a, hey, let's pay for the endeavors. You got the bomb down. Now just wait for everyone to push up, and just like that, Bobby, they're dropping like flies.
Oh, yeah, they get picked apart right there. I mean, if I'm exclusive, I'm just full sending A every time because I don't think RM have gotten a single kill on an A push. I would say keep pushing it until you see something that makes you decide otherwise. And especially with the tactical uses that we've seen out of them, you'd think they'd do it, but nope, they're going to send it back on over to B. And fortunately for them, there's only one player here to defend for RM. This is going to be tough to hold back. Turtle going to drop, and Creed just willy-nilly running through mid-map anytime that he wants to. Not going to be able to find the opener, but you got to make him pay for that earlier on. Sushi, oh my gosh, gotta find two, but Creed up in the top side of 10 finds another right there. The bomb goes down, and once again, pressure on for RM.
2v3 retake, 30 seconds to go. You got to make a move. They're on the other side of the map. They got 3 players to deal with as well, and one inside of the trailer, or inside of 10 that, I mean, let's just be real. You get up close and personal, he will split your wig. There goes the push. It's going to be one. Creed trying to get antsy for the second, but it's Neil who's going to be able to clip him. And just like that, we are 4 rounds in and 4 rounds under the belts of Exclusive, who have handled business the way you'd like to see them handle it. So far is so good for them here in the search as well. And a pretty dominant performance out of them. Let's see what they can do here in the 5th.
Yeah, it's there's just no contest for these players pushing mid. It looks like Turtle's finally going to try to counter, but instantly obliterated by Shark right there. Hollow's going to be able to find 2. That's crucial. Making a 2-for-2 trade as the bomb goes down, but Shark gets the information off the peak right there, and yet another making a 2-piece. He is untouchable in the mid-map as Kahlo left all alone once again, doing everything he can to keep his squad in this. 5 kills on the board, but time and time again being left the lone man at the end of the round. And with Shark and Veer both still alive, it's not going to be easy. That's a shot that you've got to land. You got to think with that information given away, that should be enough as Shark makes the wrap toward the backside. They want the execute. Forget the kill, and it's going to happen right there. They pick up the kill as Veer drops him, and once again, Exclusive take the round.
How madly disrespectful Exclusive. We love to see it. We'll allow it. 5 rounds in, we got our first execution. I mean, in that instance, Callow, he was dead to rights regardless. Glad we got to catch it on the screen. Good night, Exclusive. Executing their opponents in-game and in the search and destroy. And so far, so good. Callow trying to get his revenge. Nasty little wall bang there on Caesar, who was trying to cover himself on the half wall. Exclusive don't like what they necessarily see. They're going to get out of dodge, but the bomb carrier is going to go ahead and put the numbers in. That is going to put the pressure on. Numbers are going to be an advantage of the players over at RM. Can they make something happen, Bobby?
All right, now they've got a solid situation to work with. Neil going to miss the shot right there, but Shark picks up 2. Now a 2v1 right here, and question is, will he be able to get into contest spot in time? They're covering the doorway. They play it perfectly. He chows the wrong person, but he gets the double kill anyway. Oh my God. RM, how do you let that happen?
Oh. Bobby, there's In Shambles, and then there's Country Roads right there. That's the moment right there, bro. That one right here. Hey, look, I got your back. Go ahead and get the defuse. I don't even know who was still alive left. I was like, surely this is going to be a round win there for RM. Unfortunately, though, Shark is absolutely just downright devastated. He's going to be able to find a second blood here, or first blood here as well for the boys over at Exclusive, as Caesar did drop for first himself. Creed, cheeky little peek around the angle. They're still in top 1. Shark's got the top. What the? Callow. Hey, what?
How did he get the second one?
Ready up.
Hello?
Okay. RM, lost in the sauce would be an understatement right there. That was just, I was hoping for S&D to be the mode of the underdog, and it was pretty much the opposite. We saw executions, we saw flawless 5-0s on a number of rounds right there. And right now it's tough to paint a storyline where we can really expect RM to come back off of this outside of maybe Exclusive getting overly confident. But I mean, even if that were to be the case, has just been about as one-sided of a matchup as you can possibly find.
No. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. You come down to the wire, you're losing 2v1s. That's the play right there. Shark getting not only the bomb carrier, but he engages that second guy first and then redirects to the guy defusing the bomb. Right there. That is just such picture perfect representation of Shark as a player. 200 IQ, completely aware of the surroundings. They hop the bomb. And there goes that 360 from Callow. He said if he's going to go down swinging, he's going to go down looking great doing it.
Yeah, it didn't look great, but you know, if it landed, anything's possible. It just kept going from worse to worse. Like I didn't think that you could have a round that got worse than getting executed at the end of it, and then you give up the easy 1v2 right there. I'm like, oh, never mind. It can absolutely get worse. RM at this point just trying to get some reps in for the match tomorrow, and obviously Control, typically a mode that the newer teams struggle a little bit more in, and being able to at least have some VOD to be able to go back and look at against exclusive is going to be a solid thing to have. Right now, exclusive always have been a solid Control team, so not really any reason to expect anything different than what we've seen so far. But I'm curious to see if maybe we see some respawn snipes coming out of Neil once again. Is that something that we've seen out of him traditionally when it comes to the Control, and something that I would imagine, given the skill gap that we're seeing so far, should be fun to watch as well?
Oh, absolutely. I would definitely anticipate to see some crispy shots out of Neil now as we're getting geared up for our third game. They're going to give a huge shout out there to Galaxy S23 Ultra as we see it on our screen. Love to see it coming through now as Game 3 is about to be popping up on our screen. Anticipation here for exclusive to shut this one out in a 3-0 fashion has never been higher as we head over into Control, or standoff rather. And I've seen Neil hit some pretty nasty wall bangs here. I'm anticipating a lot of spawn trapping, so I'm anticipating him as well as being in positions to hit some of these call-outs that exclusive are going to be having coming into this map 3.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have had some important changes to Control that'll make it maybe a little bit less lopsided, as there's some different spawn points, so it's not quite as easy to spawn trap. And if by some miracle we go to a round 5, it'll be based on the number of ticks captured rather than just by who's starting on what side. So that's one of the things I'm very excited to see in this season of our COD Mobile Masters, that we'll have a much more balanced Control mode that is not really going to give any type of major advantage to any one team based on your opening side or whatever it is. So we'll see what RM can do right here, but as expected, it looks like Neil's going to be pulling out the Locust and maybe Veer with the Rytech as well. So holding down those long lanes is going to make it an absolute nightmare for RM to find any inroads here on the defensive side.
No, you're absolutely right. Right now, it's Creed. He's got to be the one that gets shut down. Turtle. Oh! Catches the COD timing of a lifetime. The doof second did not hit proper. And now that's going to be a little bit of progress onto the B side as that lane's already been cleared out. How does he get there? And where's the collapse at? Player number 5 finally going to be able to deal with him. And what was looking like a promising opening here for the side of exclusive, now starting to see a little bit of wobbles. This is probably the most adversity they faced all match long.
Yep, looks like Shark's starting to get locked in, so good sign for them as he hops to the objective right here. Go ahead and pre-fire in case somebody wants to make their way on through, but he gets read by Sushi, and it looks like they're going to be able to clear things out once again, as this much closer than any point that we've seen in any of the other maps so far. Creed going to be able to hop up, gets things cleared on the A side, and they keep the clock stopped for the time being. 1 minute remaining for them to capture one of these objectives, and Shark's going to be able to hop the opposite. So now the split time is going to make life difficult for RM, and especially if Neil gets pushed up into that entryway, it's going to be impossible to make your way through, and to be forced through the mid-map. It's going to allow more opportunity for the SMGs to reign dominant for this exclusive squad. B is going to be captured right there. Now that's an extra minute to work with, as Shark working on some streaks. The Hunter Killer already earned, trying to see if he can find a Prit as well.
Oh, they've done the hard work right there. I mean, I don't know what RM was doing. It was a little bit of a hesitation, roll it into trying to stop that beat. Once you get past that second tick and there's all the map control in the world, there's no way. You've got to adjust. You've got to hit that A site. And that little moment of hesitation followed up with maybe some poor gun choice or gunfight choices. You see it all crumble. So a very quick cap there as once they hop the hill, it was all theirs. And we'll roll into a second round here of control. We'll see if they do better on the offensive side as the defense kind of fell apart off the opening.
I mean, that's a solid start for Colo to be able to take Caesar off of streaks right there. Unfortunately for them, Shark has already earned some streaks of his own. The offensive side, typically a little bit more difficult, so RM definitely have the cards stacked against them. Looks like Shark is going to get taken down right there, but damage has been done. The Pred gonna drop right here, and they're gonna get, at the bare minimum, some information. Don't think he even got a kill because his teammates dropped everybody at the same time, and right now, the biggest task for RM is going to be making their way out of spawn and trying to get onto one of these objectives, as there's no substantial amount of time captured, and they will be able to take down Creed to open up some space, but still a lot of angles that have got to be cleared for them to make their way on up.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot of angles. This is a full court pressure, Bobby. You got the top right lane covered. You got Deli covered. The back alley is the only place you can hit. Ops are coming out for Creed. He's shutting down Deli. He is in your blue. 10 lives left. Time is of the essence as well. This one looking like a blowout as he catches the fourth there with the super soaker. And then there was 15 seconds left to go. This one dead in the waters as RM looking like what we saw in the first two games. Exclusive just super dominant. No kind of aggressive outplay from them.
And normally we would kind of look at the operator usage to determine whether or not we can expect one team or another to take a round, but it hasn't really seemed like the pacing of that has mattered a whole lot in this matchup. We do have 4 ready to go for RM, so if they're going to take a round, now is the time. On the defensive side, you got some operators charged. You see what you can do right here. Flooding through the bottom side of Grandma's, trying to defend that A side. Shotguns come out. They've done a good job of finding those opening kills, but maintaining map control is not something they've had a whole lot of success with outside the opening of these rounds, and that continues to be the case as now Shark gets pushed up with a kilo in hand, not something we see him use too terribly often, but that's going to be a nightmare to deal with as they've got to clear out Statue to take mid-map control.
Yep, love to see it. Lockdown. Everything's working positively here for Exclusive. You got tank control right here. You got box control. Second tick of progress is in. Creed and Shark doing absolute God's work right now. Grab Vortex is going to come out bit late. Is going to be able to snag too. Veer, hello? Okay, there he goes. Finally disintegrated and sent in another round. Shark finally going to get the trade. And all is fair here at War and Games. Right now it's 21-20 in life. Make it 19 as 2 minutes on the clock. The Caesar going to be able to stop the clock a little bit, but they want the blood. There goes the gunny. Oh, hello. Rushes, puts him on a little bit of skates, but you can see it is just Exclusive all over the feed yet again, and they are trying to get this A captured. It looks like Shark's just going to go for the spawn trap, and this one might be a life-ending one as well, as 11 only left there for RM.
Yeah, once you see Shark get pushed up into that position with an operator in hand, you might as well just shock it. Creed's going to push all the way forward with the R9 as well. 5 life lead and plenty of room to work with over here on the A side. Should be able to close things, but hold up. That's 4 in a row go through for RM right here. And with no progress over on A, this is far from over. Exclusive have got to get things locked in, maybe a little careless with some of the operators as well. And just like that, it's a 6v6. Veer can't find the player top Grandma's. An opportunity for RM to prolong this match.
Oh, Shark loses a big one, but the trades are there too. As Neil's going to be able to collapse on another, and it was 3 here left for the side of RM. Rash's Turtle. The Turtle drops all onto Callow, and Caesar collected all this time as the clock stops. Creed pops the operator. It's the Purifier. He's going to be able to shut down one. The backside's shut. It's Rushes. He's going to find a 2-piece, and he keeps it dribble on. The three is down. Can he take down two more? This is it. A 1v2, technically a 1v5. Not going to be able to do it. And Creed going to be able to put the final shot in. And what could have been maybe another round, but as you said it in the hard point earlier, Bobby, maybe just prolonging the inevitable.
Yeah, I think Exclusive hoping that they could find another execution to seal the deal right there, but Creed does the right thing, and he finishes his food as Exclusive take the 3-0, and they have now locked in their spot for the challenge season of Masters. Glitter, that was a quick round number one.
I mean, we knew it was going to be potentially heavily in the favor of Exclusive, but I feel like that was just a small taste of what we can expect out of them going forward now into the challenge season. So good job for Exclusive, but that doesn't mean that it's over yet for RM. It just means they drop down into that lower bracket, and they'll still have one more opportunity tomorrow to try and continue through to the competition and make their way into the challenge season. So one match done, one team has locked their spot, and we still have 3 more matches on the day. I feel like if this is the precedent, it's going to be an exciting day today to get through some of these matches. We'll take a look back at highlights from this back and forth verdicts. What were some standout moments for you?
I mean, just ever dominant map control there. As you can see, once they got boxes for Shark and anybody who was holding that mid lane, and then the operator used here out of Exclusive, this was a nasty piece. I think he ended up getting 4 before he got taken down. The grab Vortex a little late here for the side of RM, and Veer almost escaped, but once you're in that black hole of death, there's no coming back.
Yeah, apparently he's got an anti-gravity machine in his pocket or something. I'm not
Right?
sure how he was staying alive right there and nearly got a kill out of it. But I would say this map, if anything, was a glimmer of hope for RM. They were able to keep things close in pretty much all the rounds, I would say, except for round number 2. It wasn't nearly as much of a blowout. And like we've said, the gap between the top and the bottom is something that a lot of people don't quite realize. So they may very well have a chance going up against Revenge tomorrow. Obviously, we'll get to see them once again, but I'm definitely looking forward to our next matchup. I would say this is the match of the day. Mont versus Kings, 2 incredibly talented squads. Mont very nearly made it into playoffs for EU, so that is, for me, the match of the day.
And you can see down there on our lower bracket, Revenge will be facing off against RM tomorrow to see which of those 2 teams makes their way through to the challenge season as well. So congratulations to Exclusive, our first team to claim a spot in the challenge season. Obviously, quick reminder, make sure you guys are following us on all of our social media platforms, on X, on Insta, and on Facebook, so that you're staying up to date on everything that we've got going on with Call of Duty Mobile in the SPS, because it's going to be an exciting season for sure. But like Bobby said, we've got another match right around the corner, an exciting match between Mont and Kings to determine the next spot in the challenge season. Before that, though, it is time for a short break, so don't go anywhere, because we'll be right back. You're watching the Snapdragon Pro Series.
The Snapdragon Pro Series powered by Samsung Galaxy is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra, Monster Energy, and DHL.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Snapdragon Pro Series. Match number 1 is in the books, and it's exclusive who claim the first spot in our next challenge season. It's time to be turning our focus towards match number 2. We mentioned it before the break. It's going to be an exciting matchup. This time it is between Mont and Kings. And Bobby, I feel like this is going to be great.
Yeah, no question. This is the one I'm most excited for. I think Mont, people might look back at their record last season and say, it's nothing much to think about, but they've absolutely been putting the work in the off season. And I've been really impressed by what I've seen out of them so far. Like we said, they've got about the toughest task possible going up against Kings, but Kings have maybe faltered here and there a little bit during the off season and showing some vulnerability. So I would say this is far from a guaranteed win, but looking at the roster, I think there may be a couple of changes, actually making a lot of changes for Mont, as they do keep Etsy and Daytel and swapping a couple players that I'm not super familiar with. Verdict, you got any insight?
Yeah, I just want to say there might have been just an overlook. I think Jay stays. I think the only thing that changed out of this roster was they dropped Patronex and Zeze, and they added Lydia, who was participating last season.
Yep.
That is the only roster change that we saw in recent editions.
It's maybe just, some fun name changes there going on the Mont roster. But now as we take a look towards the Kings roster, I mean, lots of names that we are obviously familiar with from last season. Verdict, what do you expect out of this team?
I expect nothing but greatness out of them. They're changing a few things up as we're speaking. They're trying to iron some things out before we get into stage 5. They do lose Hisoka, but they pick up Says. I don't think that's going to matter as far as the starting 5. The first 5 you see on your screen are going to be the players that you're going to see from here on out.
And they were a team, Bobby, last season that we very rarely saw stumble. So they are a squad that I think a lot of teams are going to be intimidated by this time around.
Yeah, they were pretty much the unanimous number 1 seed heading into the group stages. They actually did falter at multiple points, losing to 117 Not Found and Animus. But this is a team that whenever the stakes are the highest, they're going to lock it in and that they're going to perform. So that's something they've got to do right here. Knowing that they can secure a spot in the challenge stage, I fully anticipate that they're going to be full steam ahead. And we know that like those other stage 5 teams, they have been putting in the work, not only going up against the best teams in their own region, but practicing against outside regions as well. So I'm expecting an even more refined Kings team than what we saw in those group stages.
Yeah, and the few times that they did end up struggling, the teams that you mentioned, 117 Animus, now are all jumbled up and on different rosters. So they won't be facing off against the few teams that were able to kind of give them that tough competition. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out in this season now, as we're talking about the matchup here between Mont and Kings. So we're going to pull up those map bends here and see if that starts to maybe influence your opinion on how this game is going to go. Verdict, the first pick's right out the gate.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The ban on Arsenal, just 100%. You do not want to play Kings on Arsenal off the bat and rolling into Hacienda. I feel like you give yourself a little bit more of a playing field when it goes, in that regard. But rolling into it, you get deeper and deeper into the series. The raid control is where it gets interesting. This is possibly a chance that we see an upset and Mont take at least 1 or 2 maps.
Ooh,
yeah,
okay.
I would say the raid was definitely where the most question marks were for this Kings squad whenever we were in the group stages. That was a map that they seemingly could not win. It wasn't the case whenever we got to playoffs, but it's definitely something that we could potentially see this Mont squad capitalize on, and who knows, potentially a map 5. I would say if any series is going to give it to us, this is the most likely.
If it does go to the map 5, you think it's still going to go the way of Kings, Bobby?
Yeah, I mean, regardless of how many maps, I would say I feel like it's not necessarily a shoo-in. Mont, super solid squad. I expect all the maps to be close regardless of how many maps it goes, but this is a team that knows how to close out when it matters most.
And no underdog story yet for you here, Verdict?
Look, if Mont's going to do this, they've got to close it out before you get to that map 5. You go back to stage 4 and how dominant Marvel was on slums. There's no way you take it all the way to one of your possibly worst game modes and you leave it in the hands of fate of your opponent's favorite map.
I like it. I like it. Well, it's time for match 2 to get underway. So let's see how it plays out.
All right. Well, these guys not giving us a whole lot of variety on the maps off the start. It's going to be Hacienda once again. And I would say definitely the strongest point for Mont, especially from what we've seen out of them recently, was the play of the ARs. We got Fahim rocking with an M16. It's a little bit off meta right there. But Etsy was a phenomenal pickup for them heading into the group stages and played a huge role. Looks like they are going to take some topside control, but it's not going to last too terribly long. But Fahim right there locking things down, and even with Kings finding that opening time, they're able to keep things contested right here. But Mont flooded on through, and a very solid opening for them here on P1.
Oh yeah, there we go. A little shake up, a little back and forth, a little bit of a rocky start, but getting their wits about them. It is Mont who are trying to contest here on the P1 site. Etsy from the top ropes, getting some shots in, gets clearance on one, making a 2-piece for them as the rotations now starting to be made. 15 seconds before we do so, and bang, gunfights there on the cutoff. Fahim trying to do God's work on in, but he's got still one player right here onto the inside of this garage site, and it's Marvel there, and surely he don't miss.
Yeah, he capitalized big time. Does get traded out, but Spy's going to look to push out spawns right there, and it looks like early control will actually go the way of Mont. Typically, P2, the most important, considered the money hill on this Hacienda map. And Kings are going to be left spawning out toward driveway, so somebody's going to have to find an inroad in that mid-map alleyway push, and it looks like for right now, Raid's going to be able to clear an opening for them to find their way on in. Mont not going to be able to hold the line right here, but Fahim gets spotted. Now Raid going to look to push out toward that opposite side. Cheeky spot for him right here, and Mont have got to clear him out before they can find any shot at making their way into the objective. He's going to find one. Can't quite make it two, though. Crucial win for J-Say.
Big break there for Kings. Mont starting off with a little bit of an early advantage here into the garage side. Biggest money hill on this map, as we talked about it last time around. And surely enough, Kings able to win the majority of the gunfights once the battle ensues. Raid still holding on for dear life. 7 seconds left to go. Scraps is hard to come by, and Raid going to continue to do so. They leave one man in the point, and the rotation now being made. Says is in the mix as well, making the rotation through. He's going to be able to cut the middle of the map with Raid. Big gunfight there in the middle of the map, and surely enough, the opening here for the fences is going to have Mont with the advantage of the players, but it's Raid who is left standing.
And he's the one player on this King squad that there were maybe question marks around whenever we were in the group stages last time around, but he really solidified his play, found a way to gel with this team, and has been a crucial element for their success so far. Spy hopping on in, not going to find a whole lot of success. I take it back. He found decent. Okay, yeah, 4 kills with the Annihilator. I take back everything I said. He continues to push up as well, able to get away with his life, and tosses out a hunter killer to clear out some room for his squad as well. J-Say in the top side doing everything he can to make his way on down, but at every turn, King shutting down the push out of this Mont squad. Finally, they'll hop in to get a little bit of time, but with only 10 seconds remaining, you got to wonder whether or not it's going to be worth it. And with Spy locking down the top side, if you can find this opening gunfight, it's going to be a nightmare for this Mont squad. They'll be able to keep contest right here, and finds the gunfight.
Oh my God. Oh no, don't do him like that. He's got a family to tell. Catches himself, almost got caught lacking. Stays though there to clean up, and the trades are through. The team in yellow, Kings, looking to put their crowd on yet again. Lydia, Super Soaker out, the Purifier on the opposite side. I thought it killed Water. Wrong. No, that's not the case. And back and forth we've gone, but it's Kings who's going to be able to, yet again, claim another hill after some big gunfights on the opening. So a little bit of contest going to come through. They're starting to funnel on through as well. All right, Mont. What? What was that wallbang, Marvel? Just 200 IQ, the awareness all the way there. And Kings doing it on both fronts. Look at this one. Able to get some cutoff kills to save and relieve a little bit of pressure from the hill is going to amount to Kings yet again holding the last 15 seconds potentially.
And you can just see the communication of that play. Marvel instantly turning the second that the spawns flip, picks up 3 or 4 on the backside and keeps things clear for this Kings squad. Obviously, Mont, super talented, but the teamwork, the chemistry is just so on point for Kings right now. There's not been a whole lot they've been able to do. Grizz still looking to get going, only 9 kills on the board for him, but the rest of the squad keeping things together. Is Say's obviously the new entry into the squad, is he comes from that 117 squad, keeping up as well, and Kings looking pretty flawless so far through this first set of hills.
Yeah, and I said earlier that maybe we wouldn't see a roster change, like maybe a sub wouldn't matter. Say's making the entrance, Inferno riding the pine for the time being. So far, so good. They're doubling plus some onto this rotation now. It's 25 seconds left to go. The scoreline pretty solid here for the boys over at Kings. They're going to continue to remain in the lead. Nothing changing anytime soon. Big gunfights on the outskirts. Says with a 2-piece. Grizz not quite going to be able to hit the shots on the R9 up top. And that's going to leave the last 10 seconds up for scraps. King said, hey, if you're not going to grab it, Mont, I'll be happy to take it. I'll never be content with the amount of points we've gotten.
Yep, Daytel trying to win a couple on the inside of the hard point. Jay clearing toward that statue area. It's a solid early rotation, which is what we saw from them last time around, but the holds have not been there, and it looks like they will fail to hold once again as Spy goes ahead, pops the Annihilator. War Machine comes out for Marvel as well. He's going to be able to find a couple as they once again force those driveway spawns, especially with the operators come out. Oh, Says is going to be able to farm right there. They read the spawns once again. Lydia doing everything she can to clear those corners, but immediately shut down on the push on in. You're not getting past Grizz anytime soon when he's got the R9 in hand, and Kings just continuing to run the map.
Oh, they're cooking. I don't know who gave them the hat, but man, chef's kiss right now. And you talk about it too, if you break down this a little bit further, you look at that last 15 seconds, that one grab, I mean, that's minuscule, but you set up early and it fails. This one escalating here in the second set of hills. Mont not necessarily stepping up and rising up for the occasion. Kings handling business. Rotation on through the top side office. Spy going to be able to find one. Early setups have been spoiled all game long. Lydia wins a big gunfight. Make it 1-piece. Grizz there for the 2 as he gets traded out. And Kings, yet again, finding their way on into the objective. Hold the phones, though. Mont finally going to be able to shut down Spy. And maybe a little bit of breathing room, Bobby.
And that was an EMP system for Spy. So that tells you just how dominant he's been on the map so far. He's going to make his way into the objective, untouched once again, spins around, finds 1 kill. Can he snap on to the second? No, he cannot. And Mont do finally hold the line on a hard point as they will look to break that 100-point marker. But at every turn, there's a different Kings player that's making life miserable for them. Couple more kills come through, and just like that, Kings have got control of the hard point once again. Raid controlling that top side. Spy finally shut down below, but Mont trying to fight for scraps right here, and they need to be setting up toward next. There's already Kings players on rotation, and 2 that have to be dealt with. Can they win the opening gunfights? No, they cannot. They'll funnel through from the water side, and it's all down to Grizz. He's going to get shut down as the claw comes out. So Mont, once again, they found the early setups, but have not found a single solid hold, and it is a fully yellow feed, as that will likely mark the end of this one.
Oh, Raid, 4-piece. Put him in the coffin. There goes the Pretty Marvel. Going to be able to find a 4 of his own. They are getting wiped. Left, right, front, and center. 250. 78 Kings. Where are their competition? Mont, we spoke highly of you. I still feel strongly about your performances. But after that one, we're going to need a little bit of a refresh. Completely checked after that second set of hills started. We didn't see very much out of them. As a matter of fact, I think they only amounted 27 points in accumulation from that P1 reset all the way over to that ending in P4.
Yeah, that was... I was really hoping for a close one here. I've seen the Mont guys putting in work, but it seems like the King squad have been quietly putting in even more as they absolutely run that map. putting Mont in the 100-point club, and especially like you mentioned, if you're gonna find a way to take down this Kings squad, it's certainly not going to be through the search and destroy. So the hard point feeling like a must win, they're not able to find it right there, and you got to think probably not setting them up well for the rest of this series. You know, have to find something somewhere, and it certainly was not much of a glimmer of hope at any point in that in that first map.
No, you take a look at the highlights, man. What happened? It was 40-67 rolling into P3, and you get 37 points in the total of 240 that could have been up for grabs. That's tough. That is a bad way to go out. That is not a great way to start. And when we were talking about forecasting for this Mont roster, in order for them to be successful, it is to establish some kind of confidence earlier on in the series. You don't want to take this to a game 5 right now. You're begging you get past the game 3 after that kind of performance we just saw. So hopefully they can regain. They can come back here in this next firing range, search or destroy as the hard point. First 2 hills, it was close. It was anything but after that.
Yeah, the numbers pretty much tell the story right there. I mean, Raid was just having a field day, going triple positive right there, double for Spy. Grizz not his best map, but Hacienda not a super friendly shotgun map. I'm curious if we maybe see some different looks from this King squad as they still refine their stage 5 team. And obviously, like you said, we didn't really expect to see Says in the rotation. I don't know if that's Inferno being busy, because I believe previously he had been the IGL for the squad as well, but they certainly did not have any issues as a result of it.
No, you're absolutely right. And again, it's one of those things that you feel so confident about rolling into a matchup because of how dominant they've been all throughout. But I mentioned it earlier too. They were changing some things up for this roster. Obviously, EU has a lot of gap to cover in order to perform their best in stage 5. And they've got to try everything before they get there. Right now, they're going to try their luck here in firing range, search or destroy, as very successful opening here in the hard point. Mont got to regain. I hope they're not checked after that kind of performance. Got to be able to just put that one aside. You're going up against the best in EU. Obviously, you kind of anticipate games like that, but we did not anticipate it to go as sour. So behind you, it's hindsight is 2020. Roll into the search or destroy with a fresh one, and you should be able to come out competitive at the very least.
Yeah, obviously, Marvel's going to be the #1 issue that they've got to deal with. Consistently the best sniper in all of EU and arguably the best in the world. Obviously, we're excited to see what he can do on LAN against the best of the best, but I don't know if there's anybody on that Mont squad that I really feel like is going to be able to go toe-to-toe with him, especially in the search and destroy. We'll see what they can do, as it looks like Jay-Say going to be sniping off the start. But eyes definitely on Marvel to get things started right here. Can't quite connect through the smoke, but eyes through that doorway, and has at least a tiny amount of info to pass on to the teammates. Grizz can open things up, R9 in hand, and that is going to be pretty much wide open if they want it, but they'll continue to wrap back toward the A side and maybe looking for one more pick before they want to commit.
Oh, Marvel loses a big one, Metzi, from a range. So the 1-for-1 trades come through, and I love the fact that Grizz fell back after getting that first blood. That B gate is still wide open. Jay-Say going to be able to connect there on the wallbang as well and hold up. Mont looking a little bit more collected here in the search or destroy, as that bomb's being made way all the way over on A, but everybody's here on B. Here comes the hit from Grizz. He is not able to take down Lydia, and she's going to be able to play her life. The shot's not good for Raid. Can't you win the one? Oh my God, what was that? Lydia is mad cracked, and they needed somebody to step up after that hardpoint performance, and we are just going to go ahead and throw that one in the trash can. We've got a completely different ball game here.
This is more of the Mont squad I expected to see. Obviously, there's some situations where the hardpoint snowballs. King Spy a little bit shaky on the spray right there, and maybe a tad bit overconfidence. Looked like he had the shot lined up, but just didn't hit the shoot button, and that's going to be Mont taking round #1 to get things started. Obviously, unexpected to see Marvel getting first blooded for that King squad, so He's going to need to have a bigger impact if they're going to be a little bit more consistent through these rounds. Aggressive push over toward the A side, and they're going to go ahead and full send here. Nobody there to contest Grizz, although maybe a wrap through mid for Fahim to find the frag right there. As that happens, 3 players drop, and that should enable the plant over on the A side, but bombs still got to be picked up, and you still got to deal with Etsy on the inside of American.
Here we go. Let's see if they can regain. 2 players left standing on the right-hand or left-hand side of our screen. It's Mont still hanging on. Bomb's going to be collected. Raid going to get the intel. There's somebody in American, and here comes the push out of player number 1. Daytail going to get up close, takes down your bomb carrier, and inside trailer, you still have one in Spy. Etsy. Oh, my God. They flip the scripts. It's all on Spy. He can't get it done either. And what is going on here in this search and destroy? Mont taking 2 even after having a player disadvantage.
I mean, we've got Marvel getting out sniped. We've got Spy with an SMG in hand getting deagled right there. And I would say the overconfidence is absolutely there for this Kings squad, as they have not been able to execute. And Grizz is just running full speed ahead. He said, I'll do it myself. Spins around, finds a second kill right there. And that's the opening that you want to have if you're this Kings squad. Now up 2 players, and you get the bomb down early. This is execution as they start to lock in.
There we go. First 2 rounds were fluke, they said. Bombs planted, 35 seconds, 3 players left. Mont knocking on the back door. Spy going to take down 1. Big shots for Daytail. Not going to be good for the second. Etsy going to be able to find one in the background. It's all on them, though. Not going to be able to get the job done. Stays right there in the middle of the map. And you take the dynamic of this Kings roster, and you really start to think about it. Marvel is the heart and soul there, but it's because of his sniper presence. But you really think about it, Infernal's kind of like that player that you always see being alive towards the end of a round. They don't have that anymore, and Spy just not having the ice to do it there in the first 2 this time around is looking like it is going to be a better start there for Mont.
Ooh, and a little jiggle peek out of Grizz. He's going to be able to find that one immediately back into trailer. And Say's got the bomb in hand. There's Marvel starting to heat up a little bit. That's a scary thing to see. First kill on the board and maybe breaking the seal. 1 player lurking right below that window, and this could be bad for Grizz, but he's going to get timing to go his way. Etsy right outside, immediately shut down as Marvel picks up another. And now King's starting to build a little bit of steam here in the S&D.
Okay, there we go. Starting to get their feet underneath them. Wasn't anticipating a big fight back out of this Mont team, and certainly we've got ourselves a ball game tied up on all fronts. A quick B hit now as the jungle side's going to be taken advantage of. Only 1 player here. Etsy able to find the first. Can they sustain and play their life? Shot's not going to hit. Able to stay alive for a little bit more time, but the cavalry not going to be there in return. Spy able to get the trade. Bombs made its way over, but you take a look at it. They're surrounded on all fronts. Nobody able to get the clearance. Marvel just going to be able to peel one back and call Daytail's number, and the player advantage should be able to give them the opportunity to get this bomb plant down. Let's see if they force it.
We got 7 players within like 10 square feet of each other, but nobody wants to peek. Marvel's going to be able to pick another right there. Fahim drops, and that should enable the bomb carrier to go ahead and plant. 1 long angle being held. Says maybe not the gunfight for you to take right there. Going to send his sniper that way instead. Ray's going to read that one. Marvel picks the other, and just like that, Kings go from down 2 to a 3-2 lead.
Yeah, that's just one of those instances. You have them all surrounded. You don't make a wrong move. It started with that Marvel pick in the back alley, and things just got out of hand. Mont can't handle the pressure right now. They're going to have to find some way to ease the bleeding because they started strong. But, boy, you can't have a strong start. You got to finish strong. Opening up. What? I guess he chucked the nade and didn't make it out. J-Say going to be able to find 2, and quickly it is down to a 2v3. As Kings, bomb's going to be collected here from Marvel. No, he's just going to go ahead and go for the kills. Look at him. He can't miss. And just like that, player advantage right back into the hands of the players over at Kings. Etsy, what do you got here for the 1v2? Nothing.
Lost that round, but it's not over.
In my neck of the woods, that's what they call a Bobby nade.
Yeah. Hey, look, I think I've been guilty of concussing myself several times, nading myself a couple times. I can't really speak, so I'm right there with you.
All right, well, that's 4 straight rounds for Kings on the offensive side, as they have certainly figured things out. And now we flip sides. Say is going to be there for first blood on to Daytel as things continue to unravel for Mont. Desperately need to get back in control, but just like that, Grizz and Says find a couple more. Trades do go through, but Raid on the inside of Trailer is not letting anything pass, and it's all left down to Jay Say. 1v3 with the bomb down, and that's a shot that you have got to hit. Raid makes him pay, and now 5 rounds in a row for Kings as they look like they are on their way to a 2-0 lead in this series.
Moment too big, Jay Say. You got to be able to stand up and shut it down. You've progressed decently as a sniper. That moment right there could have been a little bit better. Nonetheless, odds probably were not in your favor. Right now, it's a little bit of a aggressive push over to the A side. Bomb carrier made its way over. Bloods are coming through. Grizz going to be able to take down Jay Say in return. That first blood did come through onto Jay as well afterwards. So looks like we're going to get a bomb plant here. No Spy's going to go ahead and deny it. 3v3, good old-fashioned. Let's see if they can collect it and make it happen. On the back lines, you got Marvel. And a 1v1, he don't lose those, baby. And Mont not going to be able to catch their breath. 6 rounds. We're on map point.
Eller's gasping for air right now. And you can tell the desperation is there. They've lost all momentum, and especially once Marvel starts to get locked in. I mean, the fact that Marvel had 0 kills through the first 3 rounds and is now almost top frag for the entire lobby, I think tells the majority of the story. And oh my gosh, Grizz just no restraint. He's running full speed ahead across the map, gets taken down, but at the bare minimum that gets some information for Kings as Lydia gets pushed up toward the B side. But that's a heady that you probably should not be challenging without some cover. Lydia taken down as Marvel gets them into the 4v4, looking for a second, not able to connect, but Mont now forced completely back into spawn and forced to completely reset here.
Well, slow it down as much as you can. Players completely even. You think about it, defense holds all the cars. On the outside of Wood is player number 4. That's going to be Says as Raid does drop. That's going to be the call to hit over towards the A side. That call premature. Spy able to shut down 1. Marvel able to shut down other. It's beginning of the end, but hold the phones. Jay Say going to be able to find 1 quickly. And all of a sudden, we got a quick little 2v2. Bomb does go down, but your bomb carrier is down, and it's all on Jay.
See if he finds the timing. Oh, no. It's a shot. You got to land. Marvel's there. He finds the frag. Some body shots inbound as Marvel goes 0 kills in the first 3 rounds, finishes with 12, the top frag for the lobby. And, wow. That was about as quickly as we have ever seen the tables turn, as that was not a pretty performance for that Mont squad in the last 7 rounds.
No, it was a copy pasta from the hard point, except for in Search and Destroy form. 40 points in the first 2 sets, or two hills complete, and then you find 30 afterwards. This time around, the Search and Destroy, not so forgiven. Spy was a menace. Started strong, ended strong. And Mont and squad not able to overcome the Titans here of this Kings roster. Grizz, I mean, there's no way you let them turn and burn on you like that. Daytel able to find 1 through the smoke as we see the highlights coming up. It was all Kings show. Mont were just living the time out through. And so far, not so good for them. Let's see if they can bounce back, hopefully. And that's the man right there. When Marvel said, ain't no stopping this King squad.
And if I'm being honest, those first 2 rounds, the rounds that Mont were able to take, felt like they were more the result of Kings just not being locked in than any type of dominance out of the Mont squad. So they've, once again, got to get locked in, see what they can do here heading into the control if they want any chance of pushing this to a map number 4. Etsy, solid performance for him, but the rest of the squad just not keeping up. Fahim, 2-9. That cannot happen if you want to have any type of chance of taking down the Kings. So we'll see if they've got it in them to bounce back. If you're going to be one of the top teams in your region, you got to have that mental toughness of being able to put those first 2 maps behind you and locking in to see if you can extend this series.
No, absolutely. Talking about locking in, man. You mentioned the first 2 rounds for Marvel not having a single kill and dying twice. That was the only time he died. Again, when he's in a flow state, he's just something different, man. You looked at the stats from stage 4, playoffs, had the highest of any region. As a matter of fact, I think he still holds the highest stat line for a major event rolling up to this point. So he's got some stats to protect. We've got some games to cast. Mont has got to get their act together. It is now or never. It's the punchline. We thought this was going to be a marquee match of the night, and so far it's been a monster of a flop.
Yeah. And once again, you can't understate the impact that the impact of the stage 5 teams and just the amount of different practice that they get, not only from within their region, but outside as well. And it shows how important it is to go outside of your region to practice, to see those different strategies, the different metas, and learn how to counter them. And at every point, Mont have been hard countered in this matchup, even when they've had those strong starts. So Raid Control, I would say their best chance of taking a map against this King squad. Like we said, they saw some struggles in the group stages in our last challenge season, so maybe an opportunity right here, but they have got to come out strong. We can't see a flat start out of them.
Anything but flat. We head over to Raid. This where it could very well go in favor of Mont. Let's see if they can execute. It's now or never. Well, I say it's now or never, but they still got a chance to battle it out in the lower bracket if they don't happen to win here. We'll see how the open engagements go through. Marvel can try to continue the flow state, but does find the first. Lydia there for the quick trades. Map control here for the boys and gals over at Mont. Looking pretty solid on the ring side of things. It looks like a little bit of a forced pressure. Raid says, hey, diamonds are made in pressure, buddy. I just found 2. Let me cook.
Woo. That's the start that you're looking for. Unfortunately, the feed goes yellow once again as Kings fight back, and especially with Marvel taking that top statue control. Not going to be easy to take down. They get pushed up towards spawns as well. And now Mont's starting to get pinched as you've got the push from the bottom side. Grizz with the R9 in hand can be able to find one before being taken down, but Raid still yet to be dealt with. And he's got to have information for days as now the pinch is through. Grizz, maybe a little bit of restraint would do him a favor, but you know what? Saze is there to back him up. And once again, even with things looking semi-even in the life count, it certainly has not been that way on the objective. It's already B locked in, and Kings just continue to run wild as Grizz takes kitchen control.
Yep, minute 45 on the clock. B, I mean, it blinked and it was already captured. Over towards A we go. One ticket progress going to come through. Saze, Marvel clear in the back line. Saze inside the Tiki bar. Let me pour you a shot up. The Detail going to be a part of the 2-piece as they get onto the site effective. And right now, Lydia's just trying to shut down one. Going to be able to win the 50-50 out in the open, but Raid there to collect. The call-outs are just impeccable. And now left 5 standing, make it 4 as Kings are just hemorrhaging them. Marvel still not shut down after that search or destroy. Mance is absolutely frying. He's sitting on 9, Bobby, 9.
That's once again, she stood still. I'm like, hey, sure you want to do that? You're setting yourself up for an execution. But Kings are not messing around one bit in this one. And if you're Mont, Fahim, you've got to get going. 0 kills through round number 1. Absolutely cannot happen. Traditionally a big role player for this Mont squad. And we see the smokes go out as they do look to counter Marvel right there. But once again, smokes no counter for Grizz as he's full steam ahead, finds the opening kill, and lives fairly even off the start right here. But yet to see any objective control so far for this Mont squad. Marvel's got to be dealt with if you want to avoid those streaks starting to come through. And just like that, the Pred is earned.
Yep, Pred's earned, and look at it. I mean, there's no kind of map awareness. You're spawning all the way on the back right side of the map. You've got to be able to hit that B. It's been wide open. Now King's getting every opportunity. The Pred's going to take down 1. And on top of that, what you had is a full court pressure over to B. Now going to continue over at A as they just leave 1 or 2 over towards that ring site. There is nothing. You shall not pass, Mont. Barely able to make it out of the spawn as Saze and Spy just continue to rack it up. The kill feed's yellow. It's Kings feasting yet again as they continue their dominance here in EU. Mont, we thought were worthy opponents. At the moment, not looking worthy enough.
Yeah, the defense has not been kind to Mont. Another one spotted out. Raid so snappy on the shots, and he's going to continue to push through. Saze is pushed towards spawn. He's been able to earn full streaks for himself. And it's just not setting up well for a round 3 here for Mont as it's 20-4. it's getting ugly, and it's getting ugly quickly. They find one more on the inside of Kitchen to shut down some of those streaks, but there's so much utility that's been earned for this Kings squad, and one final chance to maybe lock in a ticket progress right here. It looks like JC is gonna, or rather Etsy's gonna go prone. Does earn himself some streaks, so some utility to try to counter as we head into round number 3, but looking like we could potentially see the same result as our match 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Not anticipated. I was so hyped and so expected to see this one go to at least a game 4. And, well, right now, not only do you look mentally defeated, you just don't look like a cohesive unit. This Mont roster not delivering as we were anticipating. Grizz, I mean, if he gets that kill, there's no way. There's no way. I know you're checked, but bro was just running out in the open with a purifier of all things. Big kills coming through as a 3-piece for the Predator missile. I'm not going to get too excited. I want to see this one continue to roll on through, but Mont starting off a little bit better here on this defensive front. Let's see how much longer they can keep it going.
And there's a decent amount of utility used for Kings there as well. They had a few operators charged and not a lot of value found, as Daytel's going to go ahead, pops the Annihilator, only 6 kills on the board for him. He's got to heat up. Not much of a better time to do that than with an Annie in hand. He's going to be able to find one onto Says, but still yet to get any takes of progress. Raid continues to be an absolute menace on the inside of money. And one player looking to hop on the objective over on A. Gonna instead opt to wrap back towards spawn right here, and Grizz still yet to be dealt with. He's taken down. That life lead getting smaller and smaller as Kings start to push out for that map control, and now it's suddenly an all yellow feed once again.
Yep, there it goes. Back to the norm. Kings racking it up. A little bit of blue lighting up the feed, but objective needs to be played. B gonna be capped. They're gonna chalk it up. A reversed. We're going to start from scratch, but a 5-life lead in favor of the team in blue. It's Mont fighting it back. The last opportunity to make the reverse happen. Daytel does not peek the corner. They're over there, buddy. They just captured the objective. They got to be coming from somewhere, and it had to have been in that area. In the spawn trap for Spies, he's just traveling. The map for free inside Kitchen. What's he cooking? All the Mont, they are freshly served here in this map raid. Looking like it's still a possibility the Kings can get the job done.
That's definitely not looking bad right now. 5-life advantage. We do see the Pred drop. That's going to do some of the damage for Kings, but they've got to win every single one of these gunfights. They find one there for Raid. Spy not going to be able to come through. Only 3 lives remain to the 5 of Mont, but Grizz finds 2 right there. Nobody in the inside of Kitchen. They're all left scrambling on the outskirts, and with a decent amount of utility right here, Kings can still find the win if they play it right. They're going to take their time and hold this Kitchen control as long as possible. Hoping for an overextension. We see the Sparrow come out and Raid with an opportunity to find one of these kills to equalize. Right now, searching for something, but can't find an angle. And Mont have done a phenomenal job, but he's able to find one in JC.
Oh no, JC, you were the last hope. Only operator on the map. No, Lydia's got one. Could they pull the Hail Mary? 17 kills to their name. Got the Purifier. Got to wait for the perfect opportunity, but the pinch. Says putting the final shots in. A 3-0 in the control. A perfect 3-0 in the series. And Kings yet again to be uncontested as they take the map. They take the series. And a phenomenal job done for them.
I mean, our teams are kind of on a tear right now. We started off the day with 2 3-0s. We knew Kings are going to have a strong performance just based off of what we've seen from them in the past. But this has got to feel good, taking down a squad in Mont and Bobby that's definitely been working on things in the offseason.
Yeah, no question. To do it in dominant fashion like they did, it's got to feel even better. It looked like, for sure, Mont were going to be able to lock things in. I think it was like an 8-13 life lead right there. Kings had to capture an entire objective, and somehow they're still at 15-8. It was 15-8, and they throw away all of those lives. So well played, holding that mid-map control and not allowing Mont to take anything away from them right there, as that is about as flawlessly as you can close out a map. And even when they start to look weak, Kings still stronger in the series.
I mean, Verdict, what were your big takeaways from this matchup?
Kings is just better. I mean, there's no simple way to put it. You look at it on paper, the roster itself stacked to the brim. They had Says, even with him in, and Inferno, arguably one of their better S&D specialty niche kind of players out, he performed well. This team is a cohesive unit, and Mont need to figure out things. They need to figure out things quickly. I don't have any doubts that they won't qualify through the top 8. But after that kind of performance, you've got to be able to identify the problems that occurred on this series and fix them moving forward.
Sure, right. I mean, like you said, they still have one more opportunity down in that lower bracket to at least make their way through to challenge, and then a little bit of time between now and then to really nail down the play overall when it comes to the next stage of competition. But as you can see on the top portion of our bracket, it is Kings who claim the second spot in our challenge season, with Mont dropping down to that lower bracket, and they will face off against Squids. Now, all of those lower bracket rounds, we'll see those tomorrow. So if any of your teams, chat, are down there in that lower bracket and they're going to be playing, be back here tomorrow, same time, to see who those last 4 teams will be. But we still have to find out who the last 2 teams will be as far as our upper bracket qualifiers, and then which other 2 teams will drop down to fight off against Omniscient and Big in that lower bracket match. Lots of exciting action still in store for all of you at home. Is this kind of what you guys expected here so far? Verdict? I mean, obviously, first day with us here on the show. Is this what you thought so far?
I anticipated it to be some quick 3-0s. I did not expect Kings to just mop the floor with Mont like that, though. I was expecting a little bit more, wanting a little bit more. Hopefully, we'll get to see them perform a little bit more later on.
Yeah, I think people just need a little bit of time to get warmed up. But if you guys have missed the first couple matches, or you just want to stay in touch with us for the entirety of this upcoming season, make sure you're following us on social media. We've got X, Insta, and Facebook, jam-packed with all of the information you could possibly need for all things Snapdragon Pro Series related. And of course, if you're in our community and you want to hang out with us even more, head on over to discord.gg/Snapdragon Pro Series to do just that. Get more updates, talk all things Call of Duty Mobile. Trust me, it's a really, really cool place to be. So make sure that you are doing that. I'll remind you all season long, so you have no excuse for not doing it. But we keep talking about it. Another match right around the corner, our third match of the day between Eagles and Project X, which will determine another team in the challenge season, but it'll actually be a new addition to the challenge season this time around in comparison to our last one. So this is where that new blood gets to kind of make a name for themselves. I'm excited to see what both of these teams bring to the table. But before we get into that, another break for us. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the place where dreams come true. Where everything you want can be yours. If and only if you're willing to work for them. You're willing to hurt for them. But most of all, you're willing to be first for them. Ha! Look, I'm going straight to the top. I don't know how I would stop, like it or not. I got some goals that I'm hitting. You hear what I'm spitting? It's hot. Look what I got. Whole lot of passion and pain. The road to success is insane.
The Snapdragon Pro Series powered by Samsung Galaxy is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra, Monster Energy, and DHL.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Snapdragon Pro Series. We're halfway through our first day of open finals here for Call of Duty Mobile in EU, and it's time for us to start turning our attentions to our third match of the day. And this is kind of exciting because lots of unknowns heading into match number 3, and this is because both of our teams are new to our open finals. We've got the Eagles versus Project X for match number 3. And Verdict, any information you've got on these teams so far?
Well, we can take a look at it. The Alb Eagles roster is going to be relatively new. I'm familiar with their rank play. I don't think I've ever seen them in competitive. It's going to be a new show for us, as you mentioned it. Some unknowns out there. Maybe, everybody is an unknown until they're, known, right?
I mean, this is what we love about the Snapdragon Pro Series. We are obviously going to have some returning dominant forces when it comes to the Call of Duty mobile scene, but the opportunity for these teams to play their way in, that's what we talk about when we look at the format, Bobby, is the fact that anybody could really make it through to this stage. And if any of these teams, one of these teams will make it through to challenge now, they'll be alongside so many other greats as we take a look at the Project X roster as well.
Yeah, and obviously there's a lot of new players for Project X2. Bouchon, the only name that the majority of people are going to recognize. But like you said, the beauty of a 128 team open bracket is really you have an opportunity regardless of your experience, whether you're recognized, how much fame you have. If you perform when the time is right, then you have a chance to go up against the best of the best. And that's what we're going to see here is one of these teams is now going to be guaranteed a spot in our challenge series. And there's some money to be earned today, but also even more to be earned for whoever comes out on top in this one.
This could have been you, Bobby. This could have been your team.
It could have been, we things just didn't quite come together for Bobby Bucket's Dino Nuggets, but I think next challenge season we're going to have to get things locked in, and I know we'll make everybody proud.
Verdict, you're gonna need a team too. Before I'm gonna need all of the casters to just to throw their hat in the ring.
I mean, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I was main OBJ for Bobby Bucket's Dino Nuggets, and let me tell you, my KD was atrocious, but that hill time, let me tell you, I was a beautiful hill kitten, okay?
All right, well, I can't wait to see the potential of this roster as we get these map bans coming through. Anything that's jumping out at you here, Bobby?
It's tough for me to really evaluate any of the map picks and bans because we don't know anything about either of these squads.
Right?
We don't know experience level. We don't know what their strengths are. We don't know what their weaknesses are. I'd say looking at the map pool, it's a solid one to pick from. You can't go wrong with the takeoff to get things started. And I think Meltdown will probably be the one that tells the story of who we can really expect to come out on top, because I've got a feeling they're going to be pretty evenly matched in the takeoff. I think the real separation is going to be whenever we get to the search and destroy.
What about you, Verdict? Any insider info?
I think this is probably one of the only series that we'll ever see a Summit hardpoint. It is vastly just neglected throughout the European scene, and the teams that are really good at it, they are automatically banned in the present. So that's interesting. If we get to a game 4, could be, fun to see some snow flurries there on the Summit map.
It would be time of year appropriate, if you will. All right, I would not be mad about it. But match number 3 is about to get underway, so let's get a new name into the challenge season.
All right. Well, already seeing lots of interesting things, especially as far as the weapon choices. I think I saw a Peacekeeper, if I'm not mistaken. We got a QQ9. We got a Bison, just throwing everything at it. Based on the weapon choices, I would say I probably have higher expectations for Project X. They are going to find that initial entry into the hard point right here. LB Eagles looking for some real estate to work with, and they're not going to find it off the start. There's only one kill through the opening of this one. Definitely going to need to find some map control if they're going to have a chance at locking in some of this early time. And given the starting results, I don't see that happening super soon.
No, I think you're absolutely right. You take a look at it. Chat, you know what the meta loadouts are. You know the ones that you're complaining about whenever you're going up against the sweaty of the sweats. Okay, well, never mind. Danny says forget the meta. PP19 Bison, 64 rounds. Absolutely all he needs. Going to be able to find a two-piece there, but looking at it off the bat, you said it, Project X starting off very strong. Bouchon, I believe, a 7th man for that Panic roster at some point since everybody else has disappeared, with the exception of Afer. Right now, it's rotations over towards the new site. P2, top of the staircase. Danny, yet again, finding ways to astound us with a nasty two-piece.
And this is more even off the start than I really expected. I think, especially given the weapon choices, I just assumed it was going to be one-sided. But so far, LB Eagles have done a good job of making things even so far. The Hunter Killer going to find 2, and the nade connects for Dejin. Just like that, Project X in control here on P1. Dejin locking down the window. No, sir, not today. And he's going to find a second right there as Danny going to get shut down. And this is where we see the gap start to build a little bit more. I think we're going to be able to tell a lot more based on the rotations and the timing of them as well. But it seems like K23 starting to lock things in. And right now, Pontek's still looking for a first kill. Not a great sign.
No, I mean, first 2 sets of hills, no kills. Hopefully we'll see them turn it around. Maybe they got some hill time to show for it, but as of right now, it's gouging an astounding lead. K23, aka Project X, rocking and rolling. Top frag going to be Aspect, and let me tell you, every aspect of his game has been flawless so far. Podtex finally going to get on board there and getting the first kill onto this P3 rotation, and Danny right there to collect as well. Okay, never mind. Hold the phones. What was looking good for the team in yellow, going to be yet again some more domination out of Project X.
That's a nice spot for a gravity vortex. Going to be able to close down those doorways and force the rotation through the middle. They go top side, but Bouchon is there to shut things down. And Project X continue to build on this lead. And fortunately for them, they have nearly all their operators charged and ready to go. Have not been required to invest a single thing here on P3, which once again is probably a signal of bad things to come for the Alb Eagles. Desperately trying to find something, but Bouchon has earned streaks to the top side. Hunter Killer and a Pred ready to go. Daijin beaming through the smoke, and this is looking like a player to watch right here. He's earned himself an EMP system, and right now Project X starting to run away with this one.
Oh, what are we doing? We're getting chained over to P4. P3, you didn't get anything out of. And it was like a standstill out in the middle of the map. This is things that you don't want to see when you're trying to get a break early here for this P4 rotation. Everything's locked and loaded for Project X as the big guns coming out. 3 operators. Don't necessarily like to see them use all at the same time, but hey, more the merrier. They've got everything locked in. On the inside of the point, you can see it. 3 players stacking in, baby. They ain't breaking anytime soon. Project X running away with this one. They have yet to be looking in their back rear view mirror. Danny going to be able to catch a gunfight there in the middle, but forget, just absolutely tore through your back line. A hit from the backside anticipated as well. Bouchon and Ryu, just a masterclass so far. Here comes the operators for the side of Alb Eagles, and just like that, in the same breath, they are absolutely gone.
They pulled them all out at the same time, and they disappeared at the same time. It was P1 where Alb Eagles found pretty much all of their hardpoint times so far and have not seen any type of success since then. Right now, Project X really locking things in, and I got a feel for Danny right now. He's got 14 kills on the board, while 3 of his teammates only have 3 kills to their name. Pontek's trying to see if he can find something with the Annie in hand, but that's a big swing and a miss right there. And I would say a costly one, but it's kind of tough to say anything's costly at this point, as it's starting to look like the outcome of this map has largely been determined already.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Got to give a shout out to Danny, though. He's a warrior. And he's using off-meta Bison. I know you use which is comfortable with you, but imagine if he was actually using something competitive. Maybe we see a different ball game on that front. He's able to get some of these opening frags, but going to need teammates that are going to be able to have your back right now. He is a one-man army. We'll see against 50 what he can do. It seems like 50. He's only 5 on the left-hand side of our screen, and certainly it has been just so dominant for Blue. Project X just continuing to rack it up. As P2 rotations are being made, scrap time's going to be had. Okay, Psycho, Pontex getting on board for some kills. The transition's coming in. It looks like they're going to have those favorable spawns as well. If 3 of them get off of Old.
Yeah, right now they've got an opportunity to capitalize and see if they can find some time, but it's Project X logging in the top side, and to be honest, they may very well be able to set up a spawn trap. Typically, these closer spawns are advantageous, but if you can't find a way to break through, then it ends up backfiring. That's what's happened so far. Nice read by Ryu. Alb Eagles finally break through into the hard point. Forget has earned himself an EMP system as well, and time again, the gun skill difference has shown itself for Project X. Rosa takes herself out right there. We'll shut down onto the equalizer as Alb Eagles do their best to keep things close, but Forget is clicking right here, and this seems like a map that Alb Eagles would probably like to forget.
Yeah, I mean, we're not being disrespectful here, but you might as well call them Alb X because Project X has just literally owned them at this point. As a matter of fact, I don't want to be that guy, but if you break it down, if you look at that P2 rotation coming off of P1, I'm going to be honest with you. I think they rotated for P3 early and just completely got lost in the moment and surely paid the price for it right now. 215 to 51. They have broken into that 50-point club, but right now, only 35 seconds needed to shut this one down. Doesn't look like anything is going to be changing here with the early setup. Secret side's locked in. One might have made the... No, never mind. Pontex was the only hope on the back line for the breaks of the spawn. It ain't happening. Through the smoke even. Bouchon. Man, Bobby, he is knocking them out of the park.
Yeah, the experience showing, and even for the people that we don't necessarily know, firing on all cylinders right now is you would think that this is a veteran squad, that the way that they are absolutely manhandling Alb Eagles. 2 players gonna finish the map with 4 kills apiece, and it's gonna be tough to piece together a narrative where we could potentially expect for Alb Eagles to come through here in the search and destroy, barring an absolute god tier performance of some sniper just taking over the map.
You know what? I'll start it off. You said it, first series. The underdog performers usually come through in the search and destroy, right? That's the only semblance of hope here for this Alb Eagles roster is, it was tough to say the least to go through. As you can see, most of the highlights here are going to be in blue. It's Project X. Bouchon was a walking 2 or 3 piece. Dejan, this feed right here single-handedly cleared out everybody that was on this P3 rotation and pretty much secured them the game from that. Everyone's just mentally checked, running all kind of crazy throughout the map. And surely enough, it was a blowout towards the end. So we're getting geared up for that game too. We are crossing our fingers that we see the underdog story come through for a search and destroy performance, Bobby.
Yeah, would love to see things get a little more competitive. Starting advice would be maybe put away the Peacekeeper. If your Pontex, put away the Bison. At least give yourself an advantage using those meta weapons. Obviously, there's probably some comfort level for some of these, but you're just putting yourself at such a big disadvantage off the start when you're using weapons that by the numbers are going to have a difficult time competing. And across the board, Project X, you can see the gun skill difference. You really can't afford to give away anything on the other side. And we got Rosa with let me do the math real quick, a 0.125 KD.
Yikes.
I think you throw somebody with a 0.125 KD on Kings, and they probably struggle against just about anybody, let alone the rest of the squad struggling the way they did as well.
No, skill-based matchmaking right here at its finest. I gotta say, Danny, though, we're gonna a typical performance out of you. 23, homie. Anytime you're able to put up those kind of numbers, especially when your team is just getting absolutely ran through, there's a little bit of hope. Maybe he gets spotted, maybe someone recognizes his game, and maybe he gets a chance to develop as a player. the biggest hope right here. Hopefully we see the biggest hope be in the search or destroy, though, because Bobby, as of right now, we've painted the picture for this EU scene, and it's been 3-0 so far through our first 3 games as it looks, or 3 matches as it looks so far.
Yeah, and like you said, putting up a stat line, even though he went negative, going even remotely close to positive when your teammates are getting cooked like that is actually ridiculously impressive. So if anything, hopefully an opportunity for some of these players, even if they don't find the win, to at least get recognized, and could be an avenue for them to find a future in the competitive scene. So we'll see if Alb Eagles can find something here in the Meltdown Search and Destroy. Obviously, that will likely be led by Danny if anything's going to happen. Definitely solid contributions out of Psycho as well, but definitely all eyes are on Danny to give them a shot here in this map number 2.
Let's see what he's got. Last shot here. No, they still got another game to play. It is a best-of-5 format as we are heading over to Meltdown. And just based off of what I'm seeing out of this matchup, game number 1's map had to have gone in favor of Project X. I mean, just through perfection for them. This is a map that the side of Alb Eagles must have felt some kind of confidence rolling into as the map bans came through. So maybe that's a little bit in the right direction as well. We'll see if they can make the most of it, as game number 2 is right around the corner. Danny, you got to fry, buddy. You got to cook. It's a one-man army versus 50 at this point. We'll see if he can step up and pick up the reins.
Yeah, firing range is, if anything, is going to be a map that everybody's very experienced on, whether you're a ranked player, a competitive player. It's been in the mix for the longest time. So hopefully Alb Eagles have a shot here, and it could very well be that their search and destroy is what carried them through to this point in the competition as well. So there's a lot of these teams that are just uber S&D specialists, and they capitalize on that to be able to take down some teams that they normally wouldn't be able to. Could potentially be the case for Alb Eagles as we do get ready to hop into this one. Once again, don't really know what weapon selection to expect out of any of these players. Hopefully somebody with a sniper in hand is going to have some type of a chance at countering Project X, who definitely looked very consistent across the board on map number 1.
Okay, well, here we go. All right, this is rather unorthodox. No, it isn't. Never mind. Just kidding. Throw it out the window. This is the correct map pick. Typically, when a team selects a map, you're on the defensive side if you're the opposite team. And, well, right now you see on the attack for the first 6 rounds, it's going to be Alb Eagles. Let's see what they can do. They can spark up a little bit of momentum towards this A side. Right now it's a standstill as they're looking for opening picks. Trying to take the right engagement is the matter of who is going to be able to get on it first. Danny just hard jiggle peeking this outside barrel. And Psycho going to be able to strike up first. And all of a sudden, they got a lifeline over towards this B side. If Illy can find anything right here. Oh, you got to hit those, buddy.
Well, what is happening? It's a whiff off right now. Nobody wants to find the kill, and he's going to be able to connect. Quick scope out of the Costco right there. Not a weapon we see too terribly often. We see the Mac 10 coming out for Project X. It's unexpected things across the board, but off the start, the opening frags go the way of Alb Eagles. An opportunity for them to open up this search and destroy in a positive way. One player should be spotted on the backside. Psycho, I'm not sure what you're looking at, buddy, but it definitely wasn't the opponent. Ryu takes down one as well, and just like that, we're into a 2v2. Pontex tries to hold the mid angle as Sniper's Nest is covered, and down below it's Frenzy capitalizing, but traded out instantly. 15 seconds to work with, and right now Ryu an opportunity to clutch up, but all Pontex has to do is play time right here, and it looks like he may have done it for long enough. Hopping back on the bomb, and does he hop it in time? No, he does not. Misses the button on the first try, and that will be round 1 for Alb Eagles.
Okay, Alb Eagles, let's go. Coming out the gates very, very strongly, and I've got to say, they did it on the backs of not having Danny. If you recall back, he took an awkward gunfight going up that A stair site. And look at the team finally starting to step up. Frenzy with 2. Illy finding that opening frag onto the B side. Took him a while, but hey, one shot is all it takes. We'll see if he can land another one. In the middle of the map, you got one right here getting aggressive. Onto the propane tanks they go. The sites are going to be called out, and a stagnant, stale standoff here onto this A site as Bouchon, yet again, the man to get past if you want to get on it. Right now, they're not trying to force it. And we're just going to sit here for the first 30 with no engagements as of yet. There it goes. Forget. Says, forget that verdict. We're going to go ahead and take things in our own hands. Frenzy's down. And Project X might be smelling blood in the water. Let's see what the push comes here for Bouchon.
He's getting way pushed up right here, so any type of peak's going to be punished, and that's what immediately happens. Illy's going to drop there. Forget drops down. And that's a little bit more of what we expected to see out of Project X as they take the round 5-0 right there and start to get a little bit more locked in. 4 kills on the board for Ryu so far, but all those came in round 1. So the rest of the squad doing the damage there. And definitely going to need to see a different approach for Alb Eagles as they full send it over toward B. Only one player here to defend. One going to be looking from boiler rooms, but at least off the initial peak right here should have the advantage. And Forget going to be able to find one with the pistol in hand as well. Make it 3. And things falling apart at light speed right now for Alb Eagles.
Oh, Pontex. Oh, my. Oh, it was so close. The Banana Mac, though. Absolutely holding the power, shutting it down. Man, those whiffs, very, very tough. We'll see it have to come back. Pontex does find one before he goes. And it looks like Alb Eagles have only found one so far as they start off with a little bit of momentum going into that first round. Sense has yet to find anything rolling in as we see a little bit of a standoff here again. As this one's going to be a little bit more of a patient. Here comes the flash. Frenzy not going to be able to find the shots. Forget yet again. First Blood Warrior. Going to be able to open up in the top side of the boiler room of your opponent's side is certainly a dangerous spot to be in, but you've cleared it out. So all the map control in the world and then some going in favor of Project X.
Not sure what's happening for Ryu right there. Maybe, yeah, it looked like he just reconnected to the game. So probably a kill that he should have had, but not going to be able to make it happen. And that brings us into a 2v2 right here. Danny has not been able to get going so far. Obviously, their biggest contributor in the hard point and a hit marker for Aspect. Deagle shots can't connect right there, and he's going to be forced to hop down. Reads it perfectly, but can't connect on the shots. And Psycho going to be able to take one more down as that forces Daijin into a 2v1. Danny's still alive. Bomb is yet to be retrieved, and they're going to wrap simultaneously toward this B side, and he gets spotted out right here, forced to retreat. Can he make the play for the 1v2?
And I think he knows Bomb's there. Here comes the hit. Danny, dusted. Daejeon, Psycho, 1v1. Here comes the hit. Oh my God, the hit fire just not there. This one is certainly coming out to some boxing glove fight. Psycho has the nunchucks nonetheless. And oh my, Bobby. Oh my, this one getting out of hands here early on.
That was one of the gunfights of all time right there.
Oh, I tell you.
For Project X, not able to extend their lead. Alb Eagles bounce back, and it's on the back of Danny, still sitting on 0 kills. If they can get him involved, may have a chance here in the search and destroy. Pontex, bomb in hand. They're going to wait outside of A and hope for an overextension out of Project X. They're going to remain in the top side and yet to see any kills come through. Pontex may look to lurk through mid. Not a whole lot of map control right now for the Alb Eagles. And only one player over on the B side. A little bit of an overshell toward Aspect. It could end up being regrettable, but both teams taking a slow start on this one.
Yep. No, the common love. Only 2 more rounds of this here on the attack. We'll see if they can find success. We're a minute in and not a shot been fired. Scratch that. Forget. As soon as I say something, man, I just eat my words. Psycho drop. Danny able to get the trade on out. The headshots immaculate there with the M13. Nonetheless, what's the play call? Do they hit back over towards the B site? They're in the middle of the map. They're just going to cut it in half. Frenzy getting a little frisky. One player down inside of the nuclear stack, and Frenzy wants to smoke. Get smoked. Ryu going to dip on back and recover. Reload as well. And just like that, what momentum you had is all but gone. There's Ryu. Give him the 3-piece. No, Illy shutting him down to a 3v1.
Not a great approach out of Danny right there. Not prepared for the gunny. And Project X extend, or actually retake the lead right here is Forget and Ryu leading the way, 7 kills apiece. And you look at the kill count, and a little bit surprising that Alb Eagles have been able to stay in this. But in the rounds that they've taken, It's been close, and the rounds that they haven't, it has not. Pontic's getting aggressive in the mid-map right here, but for some reason decides to un-ADS. The trade goes through anyway. Forget's gonna drop. And with them getting pushed up right here, this could force a difficult situation for Project X. Psycho doesn't want to peek out the opposite side. He says, you know what? Map control is for scrubs. We're just going to stay here and wait for the game to come to us, and it could pay off. Ryu right on the opposite side. He gets absolutely beamed. And just like that, Al Eagles up a man, and right now with the bomb in hand, looking to make a play through mid-map, back-to-back right here. All the pressure onto Aspect, but he doesn't read it correctly, and just like that, Al Eagles up 2 players as they force on over toward that B side.
This is like a copy pasta from round 1, just, you know, a little different and a little unorthodox. They're going to get the bomb plant down over at B. And here comes the pressure. It's Dejan. It's Bouchon. We'll scratch that. Danny shutting them down. Dejan going to be in a 1v4. Wins the first. Got to get the reload off with a Finnick. Here comes the hit from the top side. The boiler room. He's up there. Danny, where was the call out from earlier? He knows what's going on. 27 seconds to the clock. Need to get there to defuse the bomb, too. This one might be chalked as a 1v4. Very, very undoable at times, but when you've got this much time, you've got to make a move, and certainly it was inevitable. You're going to round the quarter, and surely enough, you're not going to be able to peak all of them at the same time. Frenzy going to be able to find the finisher, and we're tied at the halftime. Flip sides. Alb Eagles find the tying round up. Could that be the difference maker, Bobby?
It could very well be. I mean, given the gap that we saw in the hard point, it feels like a lack of discipline for Project X right now, and the way that they've been executing. Not surprising to see a full send on over toward B, but they get picked off the start. Utility, not well played right there as no smokes go over top. They're going to give the sniper free reign, and just like that, the pick goes back the other way. Forget should have seen Danny around the corner, but shots just not connecting right now, with Psycho's going to be able to find another, and just like that, Alb Eagles find themselves up a man with the pressure on to Ryu in the backside. Is Forget's going to get picked right there, and timing does not go his way. Back to back with another player on top of generators, but nobody can seem to find an angle to take the gunfight. He takes one right there, and into the 1v1 we go. Pontex top side finds the angle, and Alb Eagles retake the lead.
Ready up.
Okay. Haven't had one of these since the first round. Let's see if they can keep the momentum. The defense, stout, a little unorthodox at times, but hey, it's getting the job done. Let's see if the payoff round here for the boys over at Project X is going to be a little better now as we start to see this one unfold. It is a nail-biter, back-and-forth affair, and a little bit of a hands-off approach here for the defense. Gets a little antsy there as the push up onto the nuclear stack. A is occupied for the time being, and now Project X very unsure of where they're going to go. A little bit of a standstill, but look at that. The boiler room's unoccupied. And just like that, Forget is going to be able to be inside of the enemy territory. However, he's got the bomb carrier with him, and I'm not liking the play too much.
If I'm being honest, I think this is probably the best thing Project X have done so far, is capitalize on the lack of mid-map control for Alb Eagles. They've now completely slipped through, and nobody is watching their backs for Alb right now on either of the sides. Should be an opportunity to find a kill. Forget looking for an angle to work with, and he's absolutely going to be able to sneak up through A. This should be a freebie for him to potentially open things up, but timing, he doesn't see Psycho. There it is, an opportunity. Daijin finds one, Aspect finds another. Oh, the quick scope from top of generators, and all of a sudden things fall apart for Alb Eagles. They capitalize on a wide open mid-map, and another 5-0 round for Project X. You really want to see more adaptations like that out of them, especially knowing that the gun skill is there. You've just got to be confident in the plays that you're making.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Huge fan of pushing to the mid site. Not a huge fan of putting that bomb in a compromisable position. You can get away with it in games like this. Further on down the road, it's just something to think about moving forward. As we go back in, Alb Eagles not able to maintain the lead. We're yet again tied 4-4. It sounds like we're going to be going to overtime. Let's see if Project X have anything to say about it. Map control for days. Bombs down. Frenzy dropped. And just like that, 40 seconds down to 35, and not a single bit of progress over towards this A side as of yet. An Aspect, I mean, this is about as free as it's going to get, buddy. What's happening there? Okay, there it is.
I can't believe the gunfight went on as long as it did. I was looking at the kill leader like, okay, somebody's going to win this. Somebody's going to win this. Nope. Pod takes 1v3 opportunity, 13 seconds. Can he make it happen? Turns around. I don't know if he realizes he just ran past somebody, but boxing gloves will connect. Not going to be enough. Daijin closes down the round, and Project X retake the lead as they'll look to close things out here to see if they can extend the lead to 2-0.
Yep, and I think the read was there perfectly to see if it's the same. It's a soft cushion onto that A side. It's not a hard push for the side of Alb Eagles. They have been slow stepping it on towards that A side. A little bit of those nerves racking up right now. It's the same thing. They're not going to be encountered as of yet. Ryu going to be able to slip on through. There goes the kill from Forget. Daijin getting in the mix. Ryu is Aspect. Clean up 2 more, and Psycho now the last man standing in a 1v4. Bomb certainly going to go down as well. Not even going to get a chance to do it. It's a nade from Ryu. We are on map point.
I'm glad Project X were able to make some changes, and it looks like the full send onto the A site has been the way to go, as there really hasn't been a response for Alb, but definitely signs that they've got to put in some serious work in the search and destroy if they want to have a chance when we get to that challenge stage, assuming they're able to close out this series. Alb Eagles, basically ever since that, have not shown a lot of bright spots, and they get first blooded there once again. But Psycho with a 2-piece Peacekeeper in hand, somehow leading the way for them. Bouchon gets picked up as well, not checking those sides, and all of a sudden it's all down to Aspect here. 1v2 opportunity for him. Bomb in a really awkward spot, but he's going to be able to find the pick, and that brings it into a 1v1.
Okay. See what Aspect's made of. He's got 8. Does he have enough for 9? Bomb looking like it could be collected. They're just going to stroll right next to each other. And the dead silence going to pay off for both players. There goes the hit. Bomb's going to be collected. Oh my God, Danny gets handed a freebie right there. This is a little bit of a transitional sit down. Held him on the staircase. Free kill for him. And just like that, this one's not over with. Alb Eagles hanging on by a thread. Will they be able to take us to overtime, Bobby? It's looking like it could be the case if they play very similar to the last round.
Well, they might be able to catch Alb Eagles off guard right here. Only one player defending on B while they full send. Don't have any mid-map control, though. A big first blood for Aspect, and Forget's going to be able to push up. And right as that happens, Psycho hops down as well. So now all the space to work with, but he doesn't even want to check anything. Just full sends ahead. And I don't know if there's any headphones being used for Psycho. Probably should have had some information there. Players start to get picked down to Frenzy, and he's got no chance against the beams from Ryu. Project X close out the map. Man, oh man, that was closer than we expected it to be, but definitely a solid closeout to the series for Project X to keep things in their hands. A 2-0 lead.
Oh, you're absolutely right. A lot closer than we anticipated rolling into it. The hard point had a little bit of dominance in favor of Project X. Though X get the job done here, it's at the expense of losing a few rounds and getting it to be, tested a little bit too much, as we anticipated them to handle business right there. Though S&D is the mode for the underdogs, and it showed up through and through on this map in particular. Right now, Forget, it was frying, man. Look at that. It's just looking like Marshy out here with the shots with the L card. Nasty. Ryu got swung at, but they missed. Surely some beautiful highlights there from that matchup.
Definitely a couple of engagements that were a little bit concerning on both sides, but I think more so for Project X, just once again understanding that they're definitely the more well-prepared team. I think you especially look at the hard point score, and they put in some work. That was a nasty 2-piece from Aspect, by far the best play that we've seen, not only in this game but definitely the match as well. A lot of work to be done. Alb Eagles do a good job. If I had to guess, this was probably their map pick, which is ideally not a great sign as we get ready to head into the control as well. I've got a feeling Project X is going to handle business, even though they didn't look great there in the search and destroy. The more experienced teams typically going to shine even brighter when we head to control.
Oh, absolutely. Even with that being said, control being added into rank recently, you'd hope there's some kind of, some kind of ability to comprehend what's going on. Obviously, the objectives are stagnant. You got to be able to cap within that time frame. You got to do it without dying 30 times. It's going to be a tall task to ask. Now is I'm so glad they added it into it. I'm so glad they've optimized the game mode. A lot of potential for that third one to come into play, and we've seen it in competitive now for 2 years. It's starting to finally come together, and I'm super excited about the direction. I'm excited to see what kind of maps we have in the future as well, as the map for our future is going to be the beautiful Hollywood Hills of California. It's going to be raid control for our potential last game of this third series.
Yeah, looking like it could be 3-0s across the board. Once again, obviously, we got one more match after this one, but we had a couple earlier today with by far the most experienced teams that we have in this competition in Exclusive and Kings. They both handled business there, and it looks like Project X are going to look to do the same as we do get ready to hop into the control right here. I believe we are ready to go. Now, I'm not going to make any more judgments on the meta choices because, to be honest, they kind of worked for Alba Eagles in what we saw there in map 2. So Psycho staying with what he's comfortable with. Peacekeeper coming out. We'll see if he's able to gun some of these meta abusers as they do hop into map number 3, round number 1.
All right, let's get it on. Big gunfights in the middle of the map. 5 drop instantly. Look at that. Not a kill on the board on the right-hand side of our screen. And back to square one. It is going to be the boys over at Project X now applying the pressure. Oh, boy, playing you live there. Have we seen one? Okay, one came through for Danny finally, but this one, I mean, this one's a bloodbath off the bat, Bobby.
Yep, Danny finds another right there, but the rest of the squad still looking for their first. Frenzy going to be able to find another, but as expected, experience shines the brightest in the control as Forget is already on a 5 spree and looking to build here. Should have an angle to watch that cross, and he's going to be able to pick Illy, and just like that, close to picking up a Pred missile. Not going to be able to make it happen, though. 13 life lead this early in a round. I don't think Alba Eagles have had a single person touch the objective so far, and they're not getting anywhere close anytime soon.
Well, okay, well, hold the phones. They got a line over towards the pool. Oh, Ryu does drop. Not Ryu, but Aspect does drop. And 20 seconds left to go. They got 8 lives. I mean, at the least get a tick on the progress, just in case things start to turn out a little better. Aspect trying to shut it down himself, as we just saw some whiffs out of some shots in the middle of the map. Nonetheless, that tick of progress is going to come through. 15 seconds left to go on the clock. 5 left, make it 4. And Frenzy wins a big gunfight in the middle of the map. This one not done just yet, but it's starting to look like, well, I mean, it is a shutdown so far on the defensive side for Project X.
All right, well, that's 17-0 at the end of the round. Project X handled business as expected on the defensive side. Typically considered to be the strong side in control, so we'll see if Alba Eagles have a response right here. But once again, getting things started with 2 players yet to find a kill. Not a great sign for them, and Psycho maybe a little bit delayed getting into the action as well. Also, not really an ideal angle for a QQ9 to be holding, as he's going to take a lot of shots through the mid-map. Danny going to be able to find one before getting traded out right there, and a stronger start for for Alba Eagles, but still far from what they would like to see, as now some of the streaks start to come through. Some operators ready for Project X as well, and that life lead continues to build once again.
Yep, going to continue to grow as well now. Spawns are way out in Narnia. They've got to cross to the jungle, or even worse, the kitchen. Ryu serving them up hot. Shots just as equal to it. Is finally Pontek's going to be able to shut them down, but at what expense? You've lost 14 lives. The capture there are going to go through onto the A site. And back over to the ring side we go. It is a circus as of right now, and you can already tell who's the lion tamer in this instance. There's not a lion in the lobby, and it is Project X who are just continuing to feast off of this roster. As we see, down to 10 we go. The trades are there in full effect. Alba Eagles, they need to light it up or something. Something needs to change. Just, I don't know. It's kind of hard to whenever you're barely able to make it out of the spawn.
Yeah, here I was thinking that maybe the defense would be a little bit easier, and it has been completely the opposite. Bouchon picks up another right there, all down to Pontex, as Ryu said, you know what, why not pull out the equalizer? Have a little bit of fun right here, beams him, and ends the round quickly. Project X somehow managed to be even more dominant in round number 2. And Illyrian Roots headed into that round with 1 kill. He exited the round with 1 kill. I think that tells the majority of the story there.
All right, well, story here so far, it is a beatdown, boys and girls. Cover your eyes if you don't like blood and violence. This one's getting nasty. Mopping the floors with them, yet to die, 5 off the rip. It's going to be a very strong defensive hold right here. Aspect almost gets caught lacking. Nonetheless, one has fallen. It's Psycho who finds the first blood in yellow. But, I mean, look at it. They're just like a pack of angry wolves. They are all up in your spawn, and it is very hard to take them down. Our copy pasta from round number 1 doesn't look like we're going to get anything different there. Even the hip fire from the ground, man, that thing is disgusting.
I'm curious if maybe Aspect lets his team feed him a couple of kills, because he was sitting on a 14 gun spree, and I'm guessing he's trying to look to build toward the big boy. 15 in a row for him, make it 16 right there. 11 lives remain. Ryu showing some discipline, giving comms to his teammate. He's going to be able to pick up another one right there. EMP system, full streaks. They're feeding him all the information he could possibly want, but they're taking a couple of kills, and Aspect's going to drop right there. So the nuke is not to be found. You got to think with that, teammates should be ready to handle the rest of the players. 22-5, and this one is about as chalked as chalk can be. Alb Eagles, thanks for coming. You're going to get another opportunity to make it through to the challenge stage tomorrow, but today was not your day. They hop on the B objective. You know, I respect the commitment to the objective, even despite the lives being what they are, but a little too late as Frenzy now in the 1v19.
You had me there at 1v something, and then you said 19, and I just kind of dropped everything. Okay, well, let's see if Frenzy is their dad or... No, never mind. Time's going to expire anyways. Fan came out. Cool yourself off. It was not that hot, buddy. I promise you. Nonetheless, again, that is going to be another team making it through the open qualifiers. Another team going to be making it into that top 8 category. Project X, a swift 3-0 glitter.
Listen, I don't know what's in the water today, but I'm not mad about it, because I feel like when we're seeing these types of performances, the teams that are on the winning side, all these teams that are getting these 3-0 sweeps right now, I want to see what happens when we throw them head to head in the challenge season. I'm here for that. I'm ready for the competition. And obviously everyone that's competed and does not win today still has that last opportunity tomorrow to still clinch a spot in the challenge season, as we take a look back at some of the highlights from this last round here, Bobby.
Yeah, it was, I mean, there's not a lot to break down right there. I think maybe the one significant thing is, you know what? Congrats, Aspect. You almost dropped a nuke. Unfortunately, not able to make it happen, but great teamwork from the squad to try to feed him a couple of extra kills. It's really tough to evaluate Project X based on that one. Obviously, no disrespect to Alb Eagles, but you can tell they're just not a super experienced team. I think it showed in the decisions they made, the gun choices, whatever it is. They just did not seem super prepared outside of the search and destroy. I'm hoping they play a couple matches of Control tonight, if they can find a scrim somewhere, just to give themselves a shot whenever they go to the lower bracket tomorrow, and see if maybe they can make their way through to the challenge season. But right now it's not looking great. Big, another team that I'm not super familiar with, so maybe their best opportunity. But Project X gonna lock in a spot in our challenge season as we head into the last match of the day.
Yeah, which means that if you guys are just joining us and you missed the first 2 matches, it was Exclusive and Kings who were our first 2 3-0s on the day, and the first 2 teams to solidify their spot in the next challenge season. Project X just followed them, dropping down Alb Eagles into that lower bracket round, and all those teams down there in the bottom will have an opportunity to get those last 4 spots here tomorrow. But we're not focusing on them yet, because like Bobby just said, we have one more match on the day. Another situation where we've got Nexus versus Illuminati, 2 new team names to close out the day, but not as many new players. We'll see a couple returning names that we'll recognize on there as well. And if you want to keep up to date on everything, of course, follow us on social media, X, Insta, and Facebook, so you don't miss a single second of any of the action, as well as joining our Discord server, discord.gg/Snapdragon Pro Series. You can hang out with us. And like I said, it's time to start talking about the last match. I don't know how it's already the last match of the day. That's insane to me. But Nexus versus Illuminati, another new team in the challenge, one more team to drop down into that lower bracket. We'll talk more about the specific players, people you might recognize when we come back. But before we do that, we still have to give everybody a little bit more time to get themselves settled, ready to go. Get your snacks, get your drinks, and prepare for the last match of our upper bracket on the day. Like I said, it's time for that last short break, so take the time that you need, because we'll be right back with the final match.
The Snapdragon Pro Series powered by Samsung Galaxy is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra, Monster Energy, and DHL.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Snapdragon Pro Series, where we are moments away from closing out day number 1 of our open finals to determine which teams make their way through to the next challenge season for Call of Duty Mobile in EU. I'm Glitter Explosion, Verdict, and Bobby. We've been hanging out with you all day, ready to get into match number 4. And like we mentioned before the break, match number 4 is going to be between Nexus and Illuminati. And I think this one's actually going to be really, really fun. Obviously, 2 new team names in Nexus and Illuminati. But as we take a look at the rosters here, Bobby, there's going to be some names that people will recognize from last season. Some from Panic, some from Zidian, some from 31er. So there's a few people that people should recognize here.
Yeah, I think in all of these squads, there's definitely talent. You look at, obviously, Legacy, who is a solid piece for 31er. Kree, a solid AR for that Zidium squad. Feints was actually on a team that made it all the way to stage 5. Then Afer is a player that we talked about a lot last season that we had high expectations for, but unfortunately that Panic squad fell very, very flat. So I'm curious to see what he can bring to this roster and see if maybe they can exceed the performance that we saw out of them last season.
And then on the flip side of that, Verdict, we have the Illuminati squad here who has to go up against him.
Oh, absolutely. Some familiar names that you'll recognize is Gore and Aether from that 31 squad. Didn't quite make it to, day 2 of the qualifiers, but certainly made themselves a well-known name around the EU scene, as well as Nutella, Mari, and Gone, who have been around the EU scene for as long as I can remember, too. So hoping to see them spark up a little bit of energy. Have a lot of high hopes, though, for that Nexus roster.
Yeah, so this is what we're talking about. It's new team names, and we'll get a new team in the challenge season, but obviously some really experienced players on both of these squads able to handle this type of competition. So I think that this will be a pretty close back and forth. I know we've seen nothing but 3-0s all day so far. And if you're just joining us for the first time, make sure you go back and check those matches out, because it was definitely a really good way to start off our open finals, kind of set the bar for who potentially some of those teams that will drift towards the top could be after all of the roster mania we saw heading into this season. But now to close out the day, I feel like this one could be a little bit closer between these 2 squads. And then you even mentioned it while we were on the break, Verdict. Whoever loses this, when they drop down into that lower bracket, they have not the easiest road for them, because they end up dropping down, going up against Omniscient.
Oh, no, you're absolutely right. And this one's going to be a heartbreaker, because both of these teams, well deserving to be here in this moment, having to face off against Omniscient as we take a look off at the map selections. It's definitely going to be one of those maps or matches where you're like, dang, man, the bracket in this particular instance not favoring us. We got to put it all on the line here.
Yeah, and anything jumping out as we finally get a look at all these map bans here, Bobby?
I'm just excited to see a little bit more variety. You know, we get to see some Arsenal to get some things started, and that's one that's been banned in a lot of the matchups so far. So I'm curious what we see. Definitely leaning the direction of this Nexus squad, just looking at the amount of talent that we've got. And once again, eyes on Afer is toward the end of last season. Obviously, for Panic, he was dropping some crazy numbers. It was just the squad around him not really keeping up. So, yeah, expecting him to lead the way as an SMG, maybe Arsenal, not the best possible map for him, but if the ARs can get those longer sight lines locked down, we might see some ridiculous plays out of him.
I like it. Any predictions for how you think this might go here, Verdict?
I got to favor Nexus. They have a ton of talent. They've got a lot of history. They have some stage 5 competing players from last year, not necessarily last season, but you look at Afer, he's definitely going to bring that mindset of we have to win this one, because if we don't, you already know we're going to be fed to the wolves rolling into that matchup against Omniscient.
All right, well, it's time to close out the day with the final match. Let's get into it and see who wins.
Yeah, this is definitely the highest stakes possible. Not only like for this matchup, but for the day, just because Omniscient, no question, is the most feared team in that lower bracket. So right now, both of these teams are going to be putting everything on the line. Strong opening start right here, as Gore's going to be able to pick up 2 UL in hand, but the information should be there as he's going to get shut down. That's some strong mid-map control off the start. Feints is going to get traded out, but once again, these Nexus players continue to push out on the spawns, and a strong start right here is Illuminati still struggling to find their first break in.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Right now, it is a bloodbath on the objective. Legacy catches someone in the vans, deals the pressure, and just like that, it's going to be another 20 seconds potentially uncontested. from the window seal. We're going to see some players coming through, potentially players 4 and 2 at score and gone, but Gore's dropped. Gone is dropped as well. Mari going to be able to try and get some shots in, but it is just not fair. Nexus winning every big gunfight onto the objective as they roll over towards P2 site. Nobody there as of yet, so the setup could be proper here if the team of Illuminati can get there and secure the objective.
No surprise to see Afer on a 4 spree to get things started, and he continues to cook as he makes it 5, technically 6 if you're counting the 9 gun kills as well. That is a pretty early pred missile and a great sign for this Nexus squad. They give up a little bit of early time, 6 seconds there go through for Illuminati, but nobody taking the high ground control that you typically see in that rotation spot from P1. So right now going to be a bit of a toss-up on the hard point. Fane's going to be able to make his way on in, and now HBC hopping up to try to lock down some of these longer sight lines. Legacy hops on through, and it's very, very back and forth as the rotation over toward P3 very, very early here for Nexus.
Oh, yeah, but they did everything they needed to. They contested for a majority of the first 40 seconds. Last 20 seconds, so what? We're going to get 60 on new because we got the early rotation. You can see this setup is not going to get spoiled. You got 2 in the back line, 1 in the middle, and Afer, who is cutting the map in half. Look at him. Nobody trying to get through on him. Gore going to be able to finally get the trade, shut him out. But that back line approach is still coming through, and this is a day late, dollar short kind of scenario. Even if you do get a few kills, you're not going to be able to capitalize on much of this time, as we do see the spawns flip. Let's see if the flop comes through here for Illuminati, though.
And that's not a great sign for Nexus, because that's a setup that should not have been easily broken. Only 1 player left to contest on the hard point. He gets shut down, and only 20 seconds in, Illuminati are going to be able to make them pay. HBC slides on through and going to be able to retake the hard point, but now a little bit more of a toss-up. Some big-time kills do come through for Nexus right there, but still the close spawns going the way of Illuminati, and they might try to use some of these operators to break on through, but Gore shut down. Players now spawning on the backside, and they'll be able to get some more of this scrap, but a long rotation heading on over to P4. Not too surprising to see Nexus heading that way early once again.
Oh, absolutely. You talk about this was a huge missed opportunity there for Illuminati. Could have capitalized on those last 40 seconds, sold the bag in the middle of it, and paid the price. Right now, they're still down by a huge chunk, 33 to be exact, as we roll all the way over on towards the big artilleries. And the guns are coming out, and surely enough, it's the War Machine here for Creed. Can he find more than one? No. He is going to get shut down. The spawns, though, going to be favoring the side of Illuminati, as they're going to be able to collectively get the break. But again, the focus on the objective, only 1 player there, able to win that gunfight, and that is a massive one if you are the side of Nutella.
And right now, it's not really... that the holds have not held the way that we expect them to for this Nexus squad, especially given that they've been first on rotation on every hard point so far. Huge purifier out of Nutty. He's going to be able to pick up at least 3 right there. Gone pulls out the Sparrow as well, and some of the Preds and Streaks going to come through as Illuminati hold the line, and they can potentially take the lead off of this one. HBC does not have any angles to work with. Beautiful smokes out of Illuminati to cut off those sight lines, and right now Ether starting to heat up. He was on 3 through the first couple of rotations, but just like that, in 1 hard point, makes his way up to 8, and with Gore set up in the top of this window, should have an angle to cut off those rotations for that Nexus squad.
Oh, this is such a great adaptation. Right now, you see it. Who's the early bird? Who's getting the worm here on this one? You guessed it. It's Illuminati. In the early game, Nexus held a lot of map control. Right now, it's all in the favor of the boys and gals over at Illuminati to see if they can capitalize on it. First wave of players, no shot getting the break on in. Faints is in the back line, though, and let's see if they can get the pinch to collectively come through. Nexus have been hemorrhaged in the lead, has swapped over into the favor of Illuminati, but Nexus is still knocking on the door. Finally, a collective kill coming through for Afer and Creed, 2-piece to be exact, and it's going to be good enough for the break as the corners are going to be held. Legacy trying to get a little bit of a breach on out, and certainly gets traded out, but the call-outs are crisp. And Bobby, we've got a back and forth one. Nobody has yet taken the lead or ran away with it. This one's going to be enjoyable.
Yeah, definitely looking like it's going to be our tightest match of the day, at least based on how the hard point has gone so far. Big time kills for Nexus right there as they hit rotation back toward P1. Nice little pinch right there as two players are going to drop early on. Gore doing his best to flood from the top side. Nutty not able to capitalize right there as he gets shut down, and now Nexus locking in some of that early time is once again looking like the stronger P1 team.
Stronger P1 team is going to go miles and miles right here as they're going to be able to take the lead. First 15 seconds in, finally a contest out of Illuminati, but it's going to be shut down through the fence. Nutty, one shot, able to stay alive. HBC there to collect on one, but oh my God, misses the shots for the follow-up. Cree, shut down, break, solid. Illuminati, they're not going to give it away for free, baby. They're going to make you work for it. You might be a P1 team, but right now the break going to stick. Illuminati doing the unthinkable as of right now, but Legacy trying to reel it back in.
Big shots out of the switchblades right there. The SMGs are starting to heat up for this Nexus squad. They break back on in, get some initial time. Most important, though, is that high ground control toward P2. You got to chalk it right here and see what you can get. And right now, Gone gonna pick up the scraps and force some players to spawn toward the back as well. Gore locking in that tower position and not gonna be able to get the kill, but his teammate will. Right now, prime positioning for them to make their way on into the hard point. They do exactly that as 3 kills come through. Just like that, Illuminati start to move upward. The map control is non-existent for this Nexus squad, and they are scrambling. Finally, one player hops toward height. Cree gonna actually hop down right here, and just like that, Nexus have made their way in. The map control has not lasted long for either squad on any of these hard points.
No, and you think about it, this is the second time in a row here for Illuminati. You start to see bad habits formed. You get the graces of the better side of the spawns early here in the P2 rotation, and you just let it slip away. Right now, Mari tried to do everything they can as they make the rotation overall. Oh, Afer there to meet him at the door. Nutella going to be able to fight for some scraps on the back line, but the big battle is in for players 5 versus 5. Afer, if he wins this gunfight, they've got the spawns, and surely he doesn't whiff. Gone, trying to play his life, going to get taken out. And just like that, Nexus going to have the advantage for new as well.
Oh, and Afer's starting to cook. This is the player that we saw glimpses of in Stage 4. 32 kills on the board for him in those crucial gunfights to lock in spawns on a rotation that it seemed like they were going to be at a disadvantage at. I think it was a 4v2, but those couple of gunfights earned them the most important position on the map. Does finally get shut down right there, and suddenly it's all yellow in the feed. Contested on the hard point, HBC is going to drop, and those spawns flip. Now it's all on to Afer to try to push through mid. He gets shut down. Legacy on the backside is going to be able to find one, but it's Illuminati soaking up the hard point time right here. Shut down as I'm going to be honest, neither of these teams looking super disciplined when it comes to the anchors. The AR seem dead set on hopping the objective rather than holding down those power positions, and it has cost both teams on multiple occasions.
And this is a bad play here. You're sending 3 to take over scraps, and all of you get taken down. Your biggest money hill and the biggest momentum shift for Illuminati has been that P4. That was your game changer last time around, and you're sending too many players over to cover lost grounds. Let's see if Nexus can take advantage of it. Legacy going to be able to find one there as he clears out the back line through the middle of it. It is going to be the window hop up. Aether has found a crease, but it's going to be taken behind, and that is it. The break is in. The hold is there. The operators are out in abundance. It's a sea of blue in the feed, but only 2 players on the objective. Okay, there goes the cavalry. Nexus not going to sell this one. They're going to continue with the lead, and they can close it out here, Bobby.
Oh, and they go heavy on the operators right here. Annie, Puri, War Machine, everything coming out as they want to end things as quickly as possible. Gore's going to peek that mid angle. Claw comes out for him. He finds one before being taken down, but HBC still in position. I'm not sure he read Mari there, and it looks like Illuminati going to be able to keep the map alive for right now, but it's going to cost them a purifier. And right now, Nexus can go ahead and head toward P5. There's nobody on rotation, at least not to contest that early position, and all they've got to do is win 1 or 2 of these opening gunfights as Afer continues to be pesky. He's got 39 on the board, and over toward P5. It's only 1 player to hold the line, all on defense. He doesn't read the doorway correctly, and Illuminati will stay alive for now.
Afer, what you got? Oh my God, what? Oh, he's crazy. He's cracked. But it's not going to be enough for the break, though. And just like that, a few kills that come through right before that P4 closed out, being masterfully impacted as the rotation is spoiled. Nexus not going to be able to get the job done yet. They need 9. If you are Illuminati, hold the line. If you're Nexus, you got to get that break. Here comes the hit. Fate's just going to hold the corner, but it's the War Machine shutting him down. Player number 3 on the wait. Legacy trying to get the claw to work for him. He is going to get some shots in, but it's not, again, good enough for the break. There it is. Finally comes through, being trigger disciplined, and this might be the game. Bobby, 2 players on the objective. That is it. Gore gonna try his luck at the tables. He gets shut down in a 250 to 232 nail biter of a performance. Nexus gonna be able to get the break and take the win.
It just took one perfect claw for them to break that hard point, and great patience out of that Nexus squad, not panicking whenever things get tight, because there was a crazy amount of investment for Illuminati. We saw so many streaks and operators to try to lock in that P5, but unfortunately not quite enough. Probably could have spaced it out a little bit better to give themselves a better chance. They did a phenomenal job getting back into that following a slow P1 and P2, but just a little bit too much Afer. He was a menace on the map as expected, putting up LeBron type numbers, and that will be Nexus taking map number 1.
Oh, that was just so, I mean, you put it right on the top. It came down to a big matter of moment. The amount of patience there for Legacy, the claw player, to make the play and the right opportunity to do so is picture perfect there for Nexus. Almost let that one slide underneath. It was 213 to, oh, it was 230 something to 174 at one point. The fact that that game held on for so long, that just paints a picture. Beautiful. A crossbow shot at Afer as we take a look at the stats now. Those highlights. Banger. Best match we've seen so far today, and I'm sure we're going to get plenty more out of it. You see Legacy, high impact, 35 to 32, 2 minutes on the hill. That is exactly what you want to see out of a player like him. And Afer leading the pack there for the kills as he slayed his heart out, 42 and 32. Very, very intense matchup as we get geared up for the Search and Destroy. Bobby, I told you this one was going to be a little painful, you know, because on the opposite end of it, if you don't win, you've got to face Omniscient. Both of these teams very well deserving of a top 8 spot.
Yeah, no question about it, and especially given how lopsided some of the matchups we saw earlier today is. It's unfortunate to think that one of these teams is going to end up facing Omniscient. Obviously, it's not a guaranteed loss, but you would definitely assume based on the caliber of talent on Omniscient that it's going to be a really tough path one way or another. So we'll see if we got a bounce back for Illuminati as we head into the Search and Destroy. There was definitely not a large gap between these teams from what we saw, and we'll be heading back to firing range S&D once again. We have seen a whole lot of it today, and with the way that this one's going, I would say absolutely our best chance of heading to a map 4, if not a map 5, so potentially more Search and Destroy ahead past that as well.
Okay, let's see. Gore is your main sniper here for this Illuminati roster. What is the flip side product? On the flip side, you got Legacy. I think he's been very, very lethal, even with the gun. He could do it just as nicely with the sniper as well, too. So we're going to be looking at that particular matchup in the trenches if Legacy is going to be the sniper. I'm assuming he is, but who knows? We'll have to find out as we hop into the game number 2, as it is just around the corner. Bobby, here it goes. Could be the last Search and Destroy of the night. Could be some more around the corner. Let's see if Illuminati can strike back.
All right, let's see what they're bringing to the table here. It looks like Mari going to be sniping for that Illuminati squad as well. Nothing too surprising right there, and we're getting aggressive in the mid-map. That's an R9 right on into trailer, and that's some solid map control. I don't think the comms were there on the positionings, as Nexus is going to give away a free kill off of that one. Now down 1 player as Nutty does get traded early, but the positioning strong for them is they have an avenue toward A if they want it, although the defense starting to surround a little bit, and it looks like 2 players going to wrap through mid-map and try to hit a flank here. Huge snipe from Kree to equalize.
Okay, Kree reeling it back in, 2. Make it 1, sent onto the back alley journey. We'll keep track of that progress. Crossbow out, Afer. Look, bro, it's a 1 shot. I know it, man, but it's very unorthodox in competitive play, but we've seen some very unorthodox things out of EU. Kree Cheeky little spots the trophy too, knows the hit's coming. That should be the green light there for player number 2. Look at the lineup. Will he get the shot to land? As the bomb goes down, Aether going to go ahead and stick it. The post plant setup coming through. As we see, 40 seconds on the clock. They've got a roll here in a moment. The big interaction on the back line. It is player 2, HPC, going to cross right in front of Mari. That should be a free one. Oh, I don't think he's going to be able to get the timing. There it goes. Finally going to be able to collect, but on the site, it's Aether as he clears off 1. Make it 2. Oh, hold on.
Ooh, the timing of the nade could be there, and the snipe absolutely is. Kree's gonna drop just like that, all down to Aether, but the smoke is through, trying to take shots, but doesn't know where the bomb's been planted, and the defuse is through. Ice in his veins as Nexus take round number 1. I tell you when to get things started.
Oh my Bobby, we are in for a roller coaster after that one. Very tough, very tough. Aether, big 2-piece to make the playing fields a little easy, right, or level, right? And surely enough, through the smoke, ice in his veins, clutches it up. Let's see what round number 2 brings us. It's aggressive hit over towards the A site, and inside the trailer, we got 1 lurking, and that is going to be Legacy. He's not sniping. Aether and Legacy combining for 2, and just like that, Illuminati getting shut down almost instantly. Thought they had the A line cleared, and certainly they pay the price.
Mari doing everything he can, shut down right there. And just like that, Nexus close out the round in one that was not nearly as close as the first time around. Kree with 3 on the board is definitely a crucial pickup for this squad. Absolutely phenomenal for Zidium in last season. And right now, Mari looking for some help as the rest of the squad combined for 2 kills. Not going to make the cut against a team as experienced as Nexus. Big information for Mari. Patience is there. Finds the pick. Just like that, Illuminati have found themselves a man advantage.
See if they can keep it. Gore, he's got the right idea. The wallbang's not necessarily landing. Had his first kill in the first round. Has been silent ever since. Oh, God. If the aim assist had just taken over a little bit more. Gore... Pinpoint accuracy, though. Aether as well, man. He's been a freak in this matchup. And a nasty 1-2 split he got in that first round to collect the win. He's going to be able to find the equalizer. So back to a 4v4, back to 11 level playing field. And, well, not very much going on for the offensive strats here for the boys over at Illuminati as they are literally stuck in wood, Bobby.
Yeah, not a whole lot of avenues for them. And obviously, they've seen what Mari's been able to do, not trying to give him any angles to work with. I think Gore's assuming there's nobody behind there because he tried so many wall bangs, and that assumption is not correct, sir. 1 player making their way down. These 2 remaining players for Illuminati going to be very, very pinched. It looked like they were going to make the read on HBC. Unfortunately, the timing's not there. R9 comes out, and they've got information on all the remaining players. Turns on to Aether right there. Gone. Shut down. Now it's a 3-0 lead for Nexus.
Oh, the turn and burn. Good collection there. Good push. Very aggressive. Had a lifeline there in the back alley as you saw that last kill collected. This is a well-oiled machine here for Nexus. And based off of the first 6 rounds being the offensive, you would like to see a little bit more out of your map pick in the first 6 rounds. Let's see if they can reel it back in. HBC just so dang lethal. Shutting down 1. The trades are in, though. It's 2 for 1. As the map control is going to come through, Aether does drop at the sights of Aether. A little play on words right there. A little simulation, but nonetheless, they're not the same. Aether's on 7. My guy is cooking, and Aether has a singular breadstick on the table.
Yeah, not going to feed a whole lot of families with that. 3 players right here for Illuminati. Just trying to find something. The bomb's still got to be retrieved, and it's a nasty defensive setup for Nexus. They're going to lurk all these angles, try to clear out as much real estate as they can. Gore, sniper in hand, hoping somebody peeks some tires, but once again, Aether is not moving from this angle anytime soon. And Illuminati just begging for somebody to overchow, but great discipline out of this Nexus squad, and honestly, a great sign for Aether is last season we saw him on a squad that I feel like would have made a lot of mistakes in this position, overchelling, trying to overextend to make a play. And wow, what a slide to pick up the bomb right there. Afer probably a little confused on how he didn't see anybody. Plant going to go down instantaneously, and it looks like it's going to work here. Question is, what can they do to defend against the retake? And they do not check that angle. Beautiful shot, but not going to be able to make it a two-piece. And now Gore and a 1v3 getting peeked around that corner. They are looking to bully him right there as Feint shuts him down. And a fourth straight round to open the map for Nexus right here.
Okay. There we go, Afer. God spot. Man, you said it. He was quick to get that bomb, but even with the bomb plant coming through, everybody almost instantly falls behind it. Gorge being the last hope alive in a sniper in a 1v3 scenario. You're in a condensed space. There's not a lot of room for error. Those shots not hitting. Over back towards the A side we go. In the middle of the map, look at that, the defense. Oh my God, they're bum rushing it. No respect. They got the back lines covered. Marty's going to make a pay the price. Finds a two-piece. Inside the trailer goes Gore, but he is down. And certainly you got to collect the bodies in there before that bomb goes down. And this one is being awfully misplayed here by Illuminati. And the gunshots are gone. Not forgiving at all either. Oh my God, what?
Oh,
that's brutal.
That was one of the nastiest retakes I've seen in a minute. Illuminati did not know what hit them, as at every turn Nexus make the right read and make that look as easy as can be. Now a 5-0 lead, and Illuminati just praying desperately for the defensive side as the offense has not been kind to them. Nades over top, trying any type of look that they can think of, but at every turn have been shut down. We'll see what they can make of it right here. They put the entire team on the inside of trailer. An interesting move right here. See what they can make of it, and it's not going to be much as one shut down immediately. Trades are through, but once again putting themselves in a very risky spot.
Very risky. No point of escape. Gore also first blooded yet again for his team, as we did see Legacy go down nonetheless. Bomb looking like it might be making its way through. It finally does go. We got a good old-fashioned 4v4 here for the retake. Let's see if HBC can find anything. Cree does. Hitmarker's going to come through there for the concuss. They know the intel's there on the backside of the barrels, but the trailer, they're knocking on the front door. Here comes the back door hit. One for free. And it's going to be Nutella and Gone collecting two as well. Cree going to hop the bomb. Oh, Afer, right there. That's the player you want. If they push out, they're dead. What is going on? Ain't no way. You butchered that. Why?
Oh man, just putting both players in trailer. I don't know what they expected to happen right there, especially with the position that the bomb was planted. It's one thing if you plant to the side, allow trailer to be able to peek to get the bomb planter when you get the audio cue, but that's about as poorly as you could possibly play an A plant. And Nexus going to be able to once again make them pay off the start. This time it's on the offense. And the gap between these teams definitely starting to show right here. Two players down already for Illuminati in an absolute must-win round, and they are falling apart quickly as the bomb goes down. Legacy going to be able to patrol both of these sides of that tin building, and another shutdown as it's all down to Gone. See what he can make happen right here. Finds one to open onto Legacy, but still three left to deal with.
Oh, you can't say, buddy, this isn't one of those other games where you can... This is it. This is now or never, buddy. You got to roll PDW. 38 rounds in it. It's going to be good for the second. You got 15 seconds, 5 for the defuse. You got 1 in A long, and buddy, he ain't moving. This one's done. Mentally checked team. Very unfortunate situation. Almost gets to flick. Almost discounted them right there, but nonetheless, it's Nexus who handle business. 7-0. Dominant performance. Oh, I say dominant, but it almost felt like they were gifted a few of those rounds. I'm scratching my head. A lot of missed opportunities for the Illuminati roster, and I don't even know how to break this one down, Bobby.
Yeah, it's tough whenever you have one that's as one-sided as that was. I felt like, if anything, we just saw Illuminati not nearly as disciplined as Nexus is. Every turn, there are situations where, like we talked about, the Panic Squad from last season would have overextended, would have made the wrong play, and you can tell that this team is putting in the work and that they the communication is on point, that they're coordinated in their pushes when they're watching the bomb, when they're pushing on the offensive side, staying at home in their defensive spots. And that just wasn't the case for Illuminati. You've got players planting the bomb in the wrong position, 2 players in trailer with no access, and you make it so easy for Afer to just sit on that heady, defend his teammate. Definitely a lot of work for Illuminati to do if by some miracle they make it into the challenge stage.
Well, yeah, I mean, the challenge only gets harder from there. Obviously, you know, we already know what's on the other end of this one. Right now, we'll take a look at the stats. Afer, golden boy, look at that. 10-2, and he did it. Oh, high impact player right there for him. Kree pulling up with 6-1. I mean, that Battle of the Snipers did not go well. You had Mario on the flip side of things, but where was the help at? Nobody besides Gone even remotely close. And a very, very underwhelming performance here in the Search and Destroy. And this was their map pick, Bobby. This was just a tough pill to digest right there.
Yeah, and I think especially like for Gore to have been a phenomenal sniper in last challenge season, you see him go 1-7 right there, and it just kind of leaves question marks about what's going wrong for this squad. But it really does seem like just a lack of chemistry and coordination. We're getting ready to head into a raid control, but you got to think off the back of a 7-0, it's going to be very, very difficult to regain. We thought, you know, the hard point really close, goes down to the wire. Got to be our best shot at seeing a map 4, if not a map 5 today, but it's got to be a crazy type of regain to, on the map pick for the opposing squad, find a way to bounce back right here.
Oh, you're absolutely right. How mentally checked would one be after a 7-0? I mean, we've seen some pretty devastating, you know, matches tonight. We've seen some pretty big blowouts. And then we see this where it should have been a lot closer than 7-0. I say at least 2 or 3 of those rounds were just either clutched perfectly by Aether, or they were just handed away for free. But would love to see some, you know, a little bit more of adjustment. But nonetheless, when you're down 6-0, no room for error, things happen. So leads us here to this control, as you mentioned. Are they going to be able to find themselves back into the driver's seat? Are they going to be able to uncheck themselves? It's got to start here in this first round. You cannot go down on a defending route, which I'm assuming they're going to be on the defense rolling into this third game as the map picks kind of going back and forth. I would assume that you mentioned it. This is Nexus's map pick, so defense has got to be stout.
Yeah, no question about it. The plays have got to be on point. Their operators have got to be flawless. I think that's going to have to be the difference maker for Illuminati. Is we've seen that they can keep up in the gun skill department, but the discipline has been where they've lacked the most. And a lot of times we'll see teams kind of fall apart on that end. It actually is going to be Illuminati on the offense to get things started right here. And A for beaming cross map with a CX9. That is not an easy spray to hit. Nexus come out guns blazing, but immediately Illuminati fire back.
Okay, well, I was wrong on the map selection or the round side. I don't know. Maybe they wanted to start off with the aggression. And, well, it's been a back and forth affair. 7-7 in the life count. Minute left on the clock. Mari, ring around the rosy. As they're trying to get onto the site, Afer, you must pass him if you want to get on towards the A site himself. And in the pool, he's a shark. Surely enough, he's going to go ahead and jump on out. HBC's got the leader. Oh, no, he doesn't. Never mind. He's going to get dusted. And nonetheless, maybe a little bit of a silver lining if they can get past this spawn trap.
All right, Aether, just absolutely obliterated by Kree, who reads that to perfection. He's sitting on a 4 spree, and if you can build streaks early, especially in control, it can play that much bigger of a factor. Finally, we see Illuminati make their way on to B, but Aether's been so pesky to deal with. Not a huge streak for him so far, but just continually leaving this Illuminati squad guessing with 2 players on the objective. Should at the bare minimum be able to lock in B, but there's a nice flank just like that. Aether's going to find 2 more. All that progress wiped away, and Gone going to be able to find 1 onto Kree, but Aether still left to be dealt with. He's back on a 3 spree, and he just seems like a walking score streak right now.
Oh, he is, absolutely. We'll see if the regain can come through. Illuminati, a little bit of a backline pressure there as player number 5, Aether, going to be able to take down Kree. That's going to open up the floodgates onto the B or the A site. Nonetheless, Aether, you mentioned it, he's a walking score streak. He's a walking sentry gun, even with the CX9. Certainly love to see it. He is beaming right there as everyone's going to get shut down. Feints in the middle of the map trying to stop the progress. Second takes the progress going to go through. This one's still going in. 10v5. As we see, the time's going to be captured. Kree going to get shut down. One drops, make it two. A is going to be captured. They need one tick of progress, Bobby, but only 2 players left standing.
Yeah, Aether's got to win every single gunfight right here. And if your Nexus, just full send it. There's only 2 players you got to take down. One thing that you cannot afford is to give away this objective. And with only 1 tick remaining, they're losing lives left and right. It looks like Illuminati still not opting to hop the objective and maybe leaving them guessing. But there it is. Aether's going to drop and all down to Mari. A 1v4, 40 seconds to work with. And trying to catch one of these players out of position. Annihilator, if he wants it as well. But it would definitely be a risky move, and especially with that flashbang landing, that should be the necessary information for Nexus to be able to sniff him out. But once again, staying disciplined, staying at home. This is exactly the way you'd like to see them play it. Feints reads it to perfection, and Nexus take round 1.
Okay, well, got to commend them, though. Illuminati did a great job of regaining and bouncing back. They got the capture there on the A side. They got 2 ticks of progress, too. We'll keep that in mind as we roll into the second round here in the control. Let's see if they can do it better on the defending side. Right now, they're leading in that particular category. As a matter of fact, the life count is actually relatively close, too. We'll keep that in mind, too, as now as the operator's coming through. Aether shutting down the first. Giz going to get traded out now, and Feint's going to be able to find another. That is HBC, who might be wasting operators as well. No, never mind, he's not. He's going to be in prime position to go big. And just like that, Illuminati's just absolutely wiped off of this B objective.
Yep. I don't hate the operator usage out of either team. Obviously not a ton of kills found, but it is going to be Nexus hopping the objective right here. Beams out a Legacy. Not a strong start to the map, but getting in position to get this objective captured, and they've got to find an avenue down one way or another. The AR is holding the longer angles, and Feint's going to be able to hop through that window to take down Mari. And that should be complete control over toward the B side to guarantee this B objective. Feint's still got to be dealt with, and he's got an operator to work with as they start to make their rotation over toward A. But you got to get back on that objective and finish the cap. It looks like they'll get 2 more players there to reinforce. And with that kill out of Legacy, that should be enough for them to start heading over toward the A side.
Just like that. One wave, they get it done. Took a little bit longer, but hey, they were able to scrap up some kills to go along with it. Post-capture setup, Afer and team already on the objective. 3 hitting through the jungle side. Afer just being an absolute menace as he's going to continue to rack up the clip. Score trying to shut him down in the middle of the map. Legacy, he's got the backside shut down. Finally going to be clipped himself, though, and Afer is going to get dropped as well. So back to square one wrong. They're still in your spawn. It's a 17v9. Ain't nothing different over here. Nexus absolutely cooking as of right now. Mari trying to reel it back in with a few Annihilator shots. Got to be flawless moving forward. Nutella going to be able to take down one up top, too. And hold on, a little bit of a struggle bus here for the boys over at Nexus.
Yeah, it looked like they had the setup for a spawn trap toward basketball court, but not going to be able to win those gunfights on the top side. Illuminati maintain a little bit of freedom. They got 2 operators to work with if they want them, and normally I'm an advocate for saving those for the opportune moment, but it seems like that moment is now on the brink of being down 2-0. Feints is going to slide through, and now only 2 players remain. Nutty trying his best to make his way through the smoke, but Feints and squad gonna read it. Now all down to Aether. They're very heavily banking on this upcoming offensive round as they save 3 operators, and they need maximum value off the start right here. Unfortunately for them, Nexus with 3 for themselves.
Yep, 3s. Looking at it, the kills definitely favored in the side of Nexus. Objective, though, if we try to remain a little bit optimistic about this Illuminati squad, you're tied in that. So all you've got to do is just get the job done here on this offensive roll, and then maybe you start to see the ultimate comeback. We'll see if it happens. Operators out. It's Feints. He's good for 1 as the bang does come through. Gaun's going to get shut down. Aether, the lone man here onto the B objective. Ringside, not necessarily occupied, and the aggression to push on up may not have been necessary nonetheless. It is going to be him taken down. And in the midst of all that action, nobody trying to get past this B site either. as well onto the A as Mari deals pressure onto the back line. So they cleared out A for the time being. Can they capitalize on a little bit of hill time? They need to stop this clock desperately.
Cree not able to land a quick scope, maybe a little overzealous right there. Could have very well earned a pred, but regardless, Nexus maintained the life lead. Illuminati, 3 operators to work with.
There, keep it up.
And right now, they just need to get progress locked in on one of these objectives. Legacy, beautiful pre-fire, finds one. Cree, HBC, both going to invest. Not a ton of value for Cree, but HBC staying alive. Annihilator in hand, I take it back. Shut down by the sniper in the hands of Mari. And that's been their one saving grace so far, as he's got 17 kills on the board. Solid progress over here on A, and if they can get the objective captured, absolutely in a winnable position. We start to see those operators come out. Nutty's going to be able to use that purifier to clear at least one off, and it looks like that's locked in. So now a minute 42 to work with. Making his way up toward the top side of those stairs. Reads feints. One more in spawn. Not going to be able to find the frag right there, though. Illuminati 3 life lead. Will they be able to sneak away with a round right here? Legacy's there to find one, or at least the assist. And right now, looking for the pinch, but a bit discombobulated as they're spread across the map.
Oh, Legacy patiently waiting. You've seen this play before. We know how this works out. He is just waiting for you to make a mistake, and surely enough, map positioning going big. About as close as it's going to get, boys. 9-7 in the life count. Mari going to be able to find a 2-piece. Legacy, though, here's that claw. This is what ended game 1. Can it end game 3? He's going to find one. He's going to get traded out, though, and hold on. It's not done. B side still open. Plenty of time to play with. You can treat this like a search.
And Mari's going to pop the Annihilator, so they've got the 4 life lead. As I say that, 2 make it 3 disappear. They're dropping like flies, and they have no response for Afer, but he finally gets traded out. The objective going to be contested, but HBC praying he's made the read correctly, and he does not. Going to take a miracle for Cree. I don't know what he thought was going to happen. Hopping out of laundry right there. And Illuminati keep their upper bracket hopes alive for the time being.
There we go. I wasn't necessarily a huge fan of Gore using that claw at the end. It seemed like a bit of overkill. There was maybe 3 players left. And nonetheless, you got to keep the, dream alive by, taking out everybody that's on the opposing side. But nonetheless, it's just one less operator you got to work with here on the defense. Heavy hit over towards the A side. Everyone's getting their feet wet in the water now as HBC and crew. Afer, how does he get all the way over there that quickly and nobody's taking him down? This is going to be the quickest A cap and the quickest way to lose your defense if you don't get this under control. At this point, you might as well chalk it.
Afer gonna read that one as well. 1 HP shuts down Nutty, and a 5 life lead this early on. Not a good sign for Illuminati. I don't know how Legacy won that. I'm pretty sure he got caught mid hop-up animation and still takes the gunfight. And now up 27-22. 2 ticks of progress here on A. Seems like Gore should have the information to be able to pick up 1 from basketball court right there. But the kills have not gone through. Afer going to shoot some bodies right here. He's having himself a good old time. He said we'll throw a couple magazines at it before we hop on the B objective as well.
Oh, we'll allow it. Afer, you've earned it, buddy. You have been that guy. You're him. He's got the crossbow, too. He's looking for a good old time. 2 ticks of progress on A. Second tick of progress looking like it might be solidified as it does look like Illuminati are in complete panic mode. They have shut down, mentally checked out to the fullest. And it's still a very close game. Nonetheless, that B capture comes through. You've already done all the hard work on towards the A site. We'll see the kills come through as well along with it. Now a fan of players on the right-hand side of your screen. They're lined up. They're getting knocked down. Legacy going to be able to find one. Gone gets to trade. Cree going to be able to find 2 feed in there. And here comes the operators. This one, Bobby, it's over. It's done. 23v7 ain't happening.
Yeah, there's operators, 3 of them popping out right here for Nexus as well. They want to head back to the lobby as quickly as they possibly can. And it's a 1v22 hopeless situation right here. Feints does the damage for the final kill. And that will be Nexus locking in the win in our final match of the day. Yet another 3-0 right here as they drop Illuminati down to the lower bracket, where unfortunately for them, they've got a tough opponent ahead in Omniscient.
Talk about I don't like a quick day. I don't know that I was necessarily expecting it to be that many sweeps. We saw a couple teams kind of put up a fight, whether that was on certain maps or just even that last push that they tried in our last control match. I mean, talk to me about what was your main takeaway from this matchup here, Bobby?
I mean, it's really just for me, a difference of discipline, and I love to see the improvement out of Afer, who was on a squad that he was very visibly frustrated with last season, and you can tell that he's really meshing with these new teammates a lot better. Obviously, he's going to continue and will likely be the kill leader for that squad, for the majority of the squads that he plays on. It's just a question of, can they get the rest of the players that fill the positions that they need? And it absolutely seems like they have. Kree, a phenomenal sniper / AR, wherever you want to put him. The operator usage was on point in that. Maybe a little bit of fumble in round number 3. But for the most part, they were 100% in the driver's seat. And for this Illuminati squad, Aether was getting cooked on every single map. I don't know if they've got a possible substitute, somebody else they can throw in there, but putting up 0.33 KDs is just not something that can happen at this stage of the competition.
Yeah, we got a chance to look at some of those stats there. Verdict, outside of Aether, anybody else you wanted to shout out there with the numbers?
Oh man, you take a look at it. It was a collective effort at the top 4 outside of Aether. This squad has a good core. Is it going to be good enough to make its way out of the lower bracket, though? That's the question. This one was the heartbreaker for us. We talked about this matchup to be set up. The loser of this one, it's not necessarily going to be a loss handed to you. Anything can happen. They put their pants on one leg at a time, just like us, right? Anything can happen in that lower bracket, but you're going up against an opponent in Omniscient who is supremely stronger than that Nexus roster. You've got to think that this may be taking a turn from worse to even worse.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to have their eyes on Omniscient tomorrow as we close out the upper bracket portion of our show. I mean, now that we've got our first 4 teams set up and ready to go, here's the schedule for tomorrow. Now that we know who's dropped down into that lower bracket, and I think, Bobby, everyone's going to need to make sure they're here nice and early at the start of the show to watch that first matchup.
Oh, no question about it. That's it's the matchup to watch. I think Omniscient, especially, is the team to watch. That seems like the one squad that could potentially contest those top 2 in Kings and Exclusive this season. No question, the talent is there. It's once again going to be a question of chemistry. Looking at the rest of the matches, definitely a lot of question marks. Expecting big things out of Mont, but they definitely fell flat today, and they've got a lot more to prove if they want to be a feared team here in Europe.
Yeah, hopefully today was almost like a little bit of warm-up for some of these teams. They can get a lay of the land just a bit and kind of get themselves to push through into the next leg of the competition. It's almost time for us to say goodbye one more time. We have to remind you before we do that, obviously, to follow us on social media so you can follow along with all of the SPS action on X, Insta, and Facebook. And of course, make sure you're joining our Discord community, discord.gg/Snapdragon Pro Series, where you can hang out with us, talk all things Call of Duty Mobile, SPS in general, and keep getting all of those updates that you don't want to miss out on, because that's pretty much all we have for the first day. Before we say goodbye, I want to get some final thoughts from you. Final thoughts, verdict on your first day. And this was a quick one, but I mean, how you feeling?
Oh, I'm just overwhelmed with excitement. I get to do it with one of my favorites. And Bobby, I know we've been casting together for a while, but to be on a stage like this and join it with you as well, Glitter, I'm glad everybody took me, and I'm glad I got my opportunity. I'm super glad to have been here today to join you guys.
Bobby, thoughts for the upcoming season? Or what you saw so far?
It's definitely going to be a crazy one. Once again, there's so many question marks in the lower bracket that we don't really know what to expect heading into tomorrow. So it could be all 3-0s. It could all be map number 5. There's no real way of knowing outside of that Omniscient squad what to expect out of the majority of these teams. So it's definitely going to be a fun one. Looking forward to the challenge season. And this is a fun way to get things started. I'm hoping for more map 4s tomorrow.
Agree, because that means our day one is done. It's come to a close. 4 of our teams have now clinched their spots in the challenge season. Well, they will wait to find out who the rest of their competition will be during day 2 of our open finals here tomorrow. So make sure you tune back in to see just who those teams will be, because like Bobby said, it could potentially be a really, really back and forth day. As always, a huge thank you to Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Samsung Galaxy, and Monster Energy for making this whole thing possible. And thank you all in chat for hanging out with us and watching the show. We'll see you at the same time back here tomorrow.
Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. I don't got the time, put me in, coach. I've been going hard, time to let it show. Everything raw, give it to me now. Let me have the spot, man, it's going down. Gotta get it here, I don't wanna wait. Take what I want, then I go train. Gotta get a win, I won't lose the game. This is my year, I ain't gonna break. Strap in, cause it's gonna be a long ride. Working on me every single day and night. There comes a time when your worlds will collide. If it's holding you back, push it right to the side.
On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal.
Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here.
On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal.
Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. I don't got the time, put me in, coach. I've been going hard, time to let it show. Everything raw, give it to me now. Let me have the spot, man, it's going down. Gotta get it here, I don't wanna wait. Take what I want, then I go train. Gotta get a win, I won't lose the game. This is my year, I ain't gonna break. Strap in, cause it's gonna be a long ride. Working on me every single day and night. There comes a time when your worlds will collide. If it's holding you back, push it right to the side.